There's no time you ever spoke to Sun Ra where he didn't mention the Creator. He said, everybody all over this planet is always asking the Creator for things. Nobody ever gives the Creator anything. So every morning, I give the Creator a song.
My music is about giving people an ecstasy they never experienced before.
I'd like to introduce you to a fantastic guitar player by the name of Wawa Watson. And on bass, the incredible Paul Jackson. And on drums, a newcomer to this band, fine drummer, James Levi.
Step right up, my friend. Step right up. How much is this big ball worth?
I'll be 20.
20 is bid.
Yeah.
Going. Going. Gone.
I got them the whole world time got.
Gimme.
Oh, the money, huh?
The cash.
Yeah, here you got a few.
Thank you.
No, so.
It's fucking hot out here, huh?
It's not you, it's us.
Yeah, you're about as hot as a fucking whirlpool freezer.
Oh, really now?
You're about the size of one, too.
Oh, fuck you.
Brr, sight. On my mother, twin. Bruh said this gotta be a joke. Trust me, this ain't no joke, la twin. I ain't no jokester. La bruh, I speak facts on salt.
Turn away from Satan. Jesus, he loves you. You don't know first thing about love. I am filled with Christ's love. God, you are just jealous of my success in the Lord.
Hold on. I'm sorry. The CIA 50 years ago knew that there was evidence that taking an anti-parasitic like ivermectin could reduce tumors, and they classified it and hid it?
You can now triple mask yourself and get unlimited hantavirus freaking boosters for only $5 a month.
What's most interesting is the Mexican people have the lowest incidence of cancer anywhere on the planet. And the reason is they kill the ascaris with this particular product here we all know to be the jalapeno pepper. And those seeds of the jalapeno pepper, only 10 or 15 seeds twice a day, have the ability to kill the ascaris, which she found to be a major cause of why the body loses oxygen at the tumor sites. And to kill that, you use the jalapeno seeds, and then you back that up with a little ozonated olive oil.
You got to feel that heat, and we can ride the boogie.
А бошки дымятся, подружки скучают. Они считают, что достаточно тепла не получают.
Is cannibalism part of the ritual?
The children have spoken about this in almost every instance. Also, human feces, or drinking the urine, or drinking human blood.
Why do saber-type tukas not even exist anymore?
Not how you fucking say it, nigga.
Xenomix. Okay? Xenomix is a transnational company that creates flavor enhancement for products for transnational companies like Pepsi, Kraft, Nestle, candles. What they've been doing is that they grabbed kidney cells from human aborted fetuses. So they grab these kidney cell lines, and in laboratory they replicate these cells and they put them in all your products. What products are we talking about? Well, we're talking about your Gatorade. Drink some aborted babies. Yes, seriously. We're talking about Lay's chips. Yeah, that's why they taste so good, don't they? Pepsi products, all right? Tropicana juices, Dasani water, Minute Maid. We have to not consume anything from these companies and tell them that we're going to participate in their insane rituals.
Oklahoma Senator's new bill is raising some eyebrows. Senator Ralph Shorty introduced legislation today that would ban the use of aborted human fetuses in food.
Which oppression was worse, the oppression of women or the oppression of African Americans or blacks?
They used to eat us.
Wait, what? Eat?
African Americans were eaten. Do they not teach this? They were eaten.
You think there was widespread cannibalism in the United States? And
This was with a specific lady in New Orleans, and she I know who you're talking about.
Wait, hold on. One example of cannibalism is not evidence of widespread.
They used to skin us and make leather out of it. Like, why is that even a question?
I think you're saying because you're only pointing to like one example.
Like, it's not one example. Christopher Columbus wrote about eating children.
Christopher Columbus is a cannibal now?
Yes, he has he literally has journals of eating children. That is true.
Whoa, I don't know. We got to fact check this shit.
There was a cookbook on how to cook black people.
To look at them, you'd never know they're cannibals. They look just like two normal people.
Wow, I did not know that. That's wonderful that he's telling people that on national television. You've raised him well. You're so proud of him right now.
Man, I had a sister once. I had a sister once.
Young internal body parts are being transported and sold out of New Jersey by the truckload, and many are warning it's not from an animal. People were horrified after an eerie video leaked of raw flesh in an industrial truck in Paterson, New Jersey that seemed more like tissue pulled apart than animal meat, with witnesses claiming no animal carries body parts that look like this. Haunting clips show an unnamed truck pulling out of what appears to be a residential apartment's basement with heavy industrial equipment sitting above flesh that looks like it was ripped apart from hundreds of bodies by hand to fill the entire truck. But it gets darker, as this is far from the first time, as not too long ago a truck with no license plate was caught dumping something red. Meatpacking trucks were found outside of funeral homes. However, despite the eerie video, it is all meat from an animal, just parts no one can eat. Used for your pet food, soap, makeup, and candles, and the industry calls this process rendering.
Mr. Fishback, what's with you smashing a 16 or 17-year-old? Can you answer about what's going on with that?
What are you talking about?
All right, so there's like a girl named Kenya Ford.
Have you spoken to her?
I have not talked to her.
Why don't you go talk to her?
I haven't talked to a single Epstein victim either. I've never talked to Kanye West, but I know he's a real person too.
I don't want you ever speaking about women in our state like that ever again.
I mean, I don't want you ever smashing girls, teenage girls, in our state ever again. So promise me, never smash a minor again.
Why haven't I been arrested?
I don't know.
Why haven't I been arrested?
I don't know.
You should
Why
be
hasn't
lynched.
Trump been?
You should be lynched.
I should be
about me like
lynched.
that.
I should be lynched.
Yes, you should be lynched. About me like
Lynch
that.
all pedophiles.
I agree. I will lynch every single Epstein criminal in this country.
Vote for me, and there won't be no more secret government bullshit. If we can't say it with our fucking chest out, we ain't doing it. 'Cause I'm running for shit.
Louisiana just passed a law. If you're homeless, you get an automatic 2 years in the penitentiary, and you get to go out and pick cotton, because that's what they do in the penitentiaries down there, Alabama and a few other southern states. So let's just cut through the chase. They just legalized slavery. That's all. Slavery is back under a new motherfucking name. It's called homelessness.
You know, one of the things that we can also say is that Scripture doesn't necessarily follow the politic or the policy of some, even in deep red ruby states. I wanted to throw this up about Louisiana, and there is a state house bill that's advanced that would force unhoused people to choose between jail or a treatment program. If they choose treatment, they have to pay for it themselves. And if they can't afford to pay, they'll be forced to do unpaid labor.
That's slavery.
But you done drove up the price for a house so motherfucking high, and the wages staying the same, that they can't afford a house, so of course they gonna end up homeless, and now you got motherfucking homeless to slavery. It used to be drugs to the penitentiary. Now it's homeless to slavery. Fuck it. If you're homeless in Louisiana, please go knock on a relative's door and see if they'll let you stay there. Because otherwise, you're gonna be picking cotton.
Based on Mr. Gathwright's age, physical abilities, things like that, do you think that the prison would benefit from him in a work capacity if he were sentenced to life without parole?
I say yes, with my experience, not only just in classification, but as former warden and even as a jail administrator. He's someone that's young, he's healthy. In reality, we need that labor. We need that sweat equity, and we will put them out there to work because we do have an aging prison population, jail administration. We have that, so we put these young individuals to work and get some sweat equity out of them since they are young and actually can do the work.
$4. Name your favorite 3 black people.
Michael B. Jordan.
Okay, why him?
Because he's hot.
Yeah?
And then...
Is that black guys?
No.
No.
I mean, just not my type.
Just him?
Yeah, he's hot. And
one of the good ones.
Yeah. And then, what's the president? Oh, I don't remember. Obama?
Obama. Yeah. What's Obama's first name?
Obama.
Okay.
What's his name? MLK? Martin Luther King Jr.
Who?
Martin Luther King.
Martin
Luther King Jr.
Is it Martha?
Michael.
Michael, yeah. Michael Luther King.
Yes, that's it, yeah.
Michael.
That sounds like it got a ring to it.
No, that's
that ain't Michael.
Let's go with it. Michael Luther King Jordan. Okay, and why him? What did he do?
He had a dream.
Yep. Well, about what?
His life.
Yep.
No, wasn't it congregation?
Congregation, girl, y'all are killing it right now. Oh my God. Okay, I'll give it to you. We out.
Investigation, we discovered that some of Satan's soldiers are also high-ranking officers in the United States military. Here at San Francisco's Presidio Army Base, for example, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino led a double life as a satanic high priest. The colonel's cult is listed in the San Francisco telephone book, and his phone answering machine boasts of his affiliation.
This is the Temple of Set. The temple is the only international satanic religious institution fully recognized by the United States government.
Indeed, the Army does officially recognize Satanism as a legitimate religion and supplies chaplains with this guide for ministering to the satanic soldier. Yet unofficially, some charge that Army bases have become sanctuaries for devil worshippers. Just last month, under a full moon, I took a midnight tour of the Presidio grounds with police investigator Ed Abanovsky.
Are you saying that there was a satanic cult active right here on the Army base?
Yes. Satanism may be a constitutionally protected religion, but similar to another recent case at the United States Military Academy at West Point. Here, charges surface connecting ritual child abuse at the Presidio Daycare Center to the devil cult.
It was here, parents and others allege, that as many as 60 young children were ritualistically abused by soldiers of Satan.
Well, the entire time that the so-called child molestation scandal was occurring at the Presidio, the time period when these terrible events were supposedly taking place, I was assigned to the National Defense University in Washington, D.C., and my wife was out there living with me.
But is it not a fact that a 3.5-year-old girl identified you as the alleged perpetrator of molestation?
No, as a matter of fact, it is not the case. An accusation was made by her stepfather, who was an Army chaplain, speaking on behalf of this child. In her original interview with the FBI, she denied ever being molested.
the industry grooms them to be open to it. Like if we go back to the Big Papa video, right? Why was there, you remember the scene in the bathroom? Why was there a transgender pissing in the bathroom with the, in the
up, right?
Yeah. Go to the scene when Buster's talking to her at the bar and Big walk up and move in and then True, stop it right there and look at the knot in her throat.
Not the knot in her throat. Talking about this young lady?
Her name is Shamika. She was from Queens and she got killed because she was a was dating her, didn't know it was a man, and went to have sex with her and found out she was a man, and she's dead, and he's in jail. What I believe is that the Tupac Biggie got so gangster and so big that the agenda that they was about to push on us, that they later pushed on us, it just got pushed back. They was getting ready to groom us right there. They was grooming us. We got a transgender in the Big Papa video, in the bathroom, and the lead woman. Not only in Big One, and she's in the bed with Biggie, and then in the Flavor in Your Ear remix, she's dancing behind LL. And Hype Williams is the director, and she's the lead in all three of those videos, and he's the director of all three of those videos. And it's rumored that that was his chick.
My girlfriend at the time would come to the prison, and she would have a balloon with a variety of psychedelics in it.
She's got me running, trying to find her.
When we got up to be allowed our one hug and kiss, she put the balloon from her mouth into mine, and I swallowed it. I had to shit it out, and I had to clean it up, and then I had to unwrap it, and then I had to figure some way of dosing it out.
He started running sessions in the cell. He would typically do it after lights out. He'd open the door to his locker where he had a picture of Ganesh pasted in the door, light a candle, and he and the other folks who were getting high would sit around shielded from the guards' vision as they walked by. I mean, he's a great session guide.
We formed a 8-man psychedelic cell, had a mafia guy in it. He took acid with us because he wasn't a pussy. As he came out of that session, he said, "Hey guys, you know, that's the first time I've been in church in 30 years. I began to monitor the delivery of food. Somehow I got some LSD in there, and the word got out. Everybody would rather take LSD than be just sitting in jail, right? We got the whole of the prison stoned. This is what freedom is really about. It's not about not being in chains. It's about not having your mind enslaved.
So Meta just fired 1,100 people who exposed what they were doing with the Ray-Ban footage on 6 days' notice. Quick context, if you purchased Meta smart glasses, the footage you recorded, everything you saw around you got sent to a contractor in Kenya called Sama. 1,100 workers doing 10-hour shifts, sitting there labeling what was on your camera so Meta's AI models could get better. Back in February, Swedish journalists started investigating this matter, and the workers told them what they were actually watching. People having intimacy, people in bathrooms, naked, kids, credit card numbers, you name it. And last month, Meta cut their entire contract. This week, the Kenyan company Sama just announced that they're firing all 1,100 of those people. Some of them said that they'd already been forced to sit on their desks doing nothing for weeks while security tightened around them after the reports started coming out. Meta says that Sama didn't meet our standards, and Sama says they consistently met all standards. Read between the two, and the truth is very simple. The workers who told the public what was actually happening all lost their job and were fired. Now there's a class action lawsuit in California against Meta, and the UK's data regulator also opened an investigation. Every single part of this story is true, and nobody at Meta has answered any of this yet. The lawsuit is moving, 2 regulators are investigating, 1,100 people lost their jobs.
Why don't highways just go around cities in America? Why do they run straight through the middle of them? Well, it's because city planners wanted to get rid of black Americans. Because as racist as the country was back in the day, it still wasn't okay to just kick black Americans out of their homes for no reason. But once building highways became a national priority in the 1950s, city planners got the perfect excuse. They could just say, hey guys, really sorry, I know you're living here, but we need to build this highway right through your neighborhood actually. I know you guys are an all-black neighborhood, I know, really weird coincidence. Every city planner across the country keeps doing this for some reason. But yeah, you guys gotta go. I mean, these highways are important for national security, the future, stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, some of this was just cold-hearted economics rather than racism, since city planners had to compensate victims for destroying their homes. And it was just cheaper to compensate poor black Americans than it was to compensate wealthier white Americans. And working-class white American neighborhoods did also get demolished. But some of the most powerful city planners did later outright admit that they just wanted to kick out black Americans, including this guy who consulted on 550 American cities. And this guy, the single most influential urban planner in American history, who was also the most racist human being I had ever really encountered according to his employees, and who intentionally built bridges low to block buses carrying black kids. As one lawyer summarized it, the government was running white men's roads through black men's homes. Well, fast forward a decade or so, and the civil rights movement advances massively. People are outraged at racial injustice. Segregation ends, and redlining ends. This makes it easier for neighborhoods to mix, and harder to just tear apart an all-black neighborhood in particular. But not everybody likes desegregation. Some residents want their neighborhoods to stay white. And a mayor in Alabama promises to explore all possible routes to aid white property owners in the preservation of the character of their neighborhood. Well, the problem is that they need an excuse to keep their neighborhood white. And highways were again the perfect excuse. The mayor and Alabama state officials built a highway as a buffer right in between the existing white and black neighborhoods. It wasn't segregation, it was just a random highway. Just a random giant physical structure that just so happened to help keep the communities living on either side of it segregated.
The Guna of Panama have the world's highest rate of albinism. 1 in every 150 people born here is born a Sapu, a child of the moon. In most parts of the world, being albino under the equatorial sun is a death sentence, but the Guna almost never get sick from it. According to research, it's because they drink cacao more than they drink water, up to 5 cups every single day. The cocoa flavonols protect their skin from UV damage at a cellular level, a remedy that they've been drinking for centuries and even give to their newborns. Today, around 50,000 Guna remain, still raising children of the moon under the same tropical sun.
Well, he's curving it. That's not where the carts go, sir.
What?
The carts go back at the cart return.
I don't see the cart return.
I'll show it to you. It's right over there. Well, let's go with the hood magnet since that was a...
Man, I swear to God,
Sir, what?
Bitch.
Well, sir, do you need some help?
Yeah, you get the f away from me, you son of a bitch.
Why are you so mad all of a sudden? I blocked your attack.
Because you're a son of an asshole.
Gonna take your cart back this time? Well, you've learned your lesson?
No, I haven't.
Why not?
Because
you seem like you'd be a good dramatic actor. You're very, emotional and engaged.
I'm not acting.
Well, I can tell that. Oh, they don't deserve that in their mailbox, sir. Here, I got some more for you.
Get out of here! Get the f out of here!
Or else what?
Stop following me!
I blocked your attack.
Stop!
See, you shouldn't telegraph your punches so much, sir. You had your fist up like that, so I knew which way it was coming from. That's my mag. It's my flag, unless you want it.
Shove it up your ass.
Sir, my butt cheeks are very tightly clenched.
Appendicitis is the result of damage done by parasites. Inflammation in the body is due to presence of parasites. The presence of parasites gives rise to cysts and the formation of tumor-like growths. Parasites can cause excitability in the sexual organs, causing masturbation in younger children. If too many eggs are given, the liver becomes changed and the host will die within 2 weeks. This test was done on mice, dogs, and children. Parasites introduced through the vagina remain alive and multiply through the body. Most of the damage done is through parasite excretions. Parasites grow quickly, and a 51-meter-long tapeworm has been found on a 4-week-old sheep. These are photos from my families. The same in humans. 31-inch worms found in 5-year-old children in the United States. These children are autistic. The use of lower animals in human healing continues. Maggot therapy and wound healing continues to be experimented on humans, but now they're finding that while the maggots are eating toxic pathogens, what the maggots are pooping out are pathogens even worse than what was already infecting the wound. This waste is of worse consequence than the garbage collected. My husband and I were able to obtain a vial of tetanus vaccine. In this vial, we made 24 pools and examined the liquid contents under magnification. 21 of the 24 pools, we saw a variety of toxins, including undetermined parasite eggs, skin material, lime rod material, algae, and fungus, and encapsulated toxic formations. Only 3 of the 24 vaccine pools had clean bacterial indicators. This explains how one vaccine vial can give different results or symptoms in different people.
I drank this for 9 weeks, and at the end of 9 weeks, the cancer clinic could not find one thing wrong with me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You mean pain left your body too?
Everything.
In 9 weeks?
Yes, in 9 weeks' time.
Red clover?
It was red clover, herbaline, and chaparral. 3 herbs, strangely enough, mentioned by 3 prophets from 3 different continents. And Dr. Ian Pierce called me, England's top oncologist, and he said, I've read about you in the paper, your recovery. Can I come and examine you? I said, yes.
Oh, yeah.
He came and examined me, took blood tests and so on, and he said, it's unbelievable. Can I have some of the tea? We need to analyze it. And he took it all mixed together as I was drinking it. In a few days' time, he called me and said, I'm terribly sorry to tell you this, Jason, but this didn't cure any illness at all. All it did is purify your blood to such an extent your natural immunity healed your body. He said, God did not throw us down here and say, here's 10,000 fast food restaurants, there's pollution in the air, pollution in the water, have a good time. He gave us something in our body to heal ourselves called the immune system. And in biblical times, any one of those herbs would and did work in different continents to purify the blood so the body healed itself. Nowadays, our blood is so toxic that it took the combined efforts of the 3 herbs mixed together to purify your blood, and your body healed itself. But one thing, and this is the end of the story here.
Oh, it's wonderful.
One thing, he said, an amazing thing, Buddha told the Indian people 2,500 years ago to use herbaline, a special herb. When we analyzed it in the laboratory, we found that herbaline is a catalyst, and it made the other 2 27 times stronger. And that's why this worked for you. Every day on radio and TV, I say terminal cancer was the best thing that ever happened to me.
I could see that. It
Yeah.
changed your life and all those miracles and all these people you're affecting.
Yes, it's marvelous, you know.
Now, you've been to various countries and you wrote a book, The Jason Winter Story.
It's in 9 languages, actually.
9 languages?
They called it Killing Cancer. And when it was published in China, it sold 6 million copies immediately.
Also, in the United States, we haven't heard many of this story. How come?
I don't know. You know, I'm working with Prince Charles on the Federation of Integrative Medicine, and I've been to Washington a few times. We've even got an award from the American Congress.
Really?
We're the only company in the alternative health field to do this. But the public needs to be aware of it.
Did you know nicotine is a published cure for Parkinson's disease, MS, Alzheimer's, ulcerative colitis, all arthritises, all of them. Psoriatic, gout, osteo, rheumatoid. Did you know it's also a published cure? I already mentioned it, myocarditis. Did you know that autism traits? Yeah. They've already investigated nicotine patches between the shoulder blades of all children and adults, and within 7 days they see improvements in all their symptoms. Dissolved within 72 hours glioblastoma tumors with nicotine. Did you know nicotine is a published cure for Parkinson's disease, MS, Alzheimer's, ulcerative colitis, all arthritises, all of them. Psoriatic, gout, osteo, rheumatoid. Did you know it's also a published cure? I already mentioned it, myocarditis. Did you know that autism traits? Yeah. They've already investigated nicotine patches between the shoulder blades of all children and adults, and within 7 days they see improvements.
I need that to go down.
Go down. What the hell? So it says on my app, so this car is linked to my Tesla app, it says there's a $20.28 unpaid balance for this car. So I owe the previous owner's unpaid balance before it releases the charging port, maybe? I don't know, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna link my credit card and pay that other person's balance and see if it will let me charge and drive the car that I own now. Imagine if someone didn't pay their gas bill and the next owner can't use a car until the previous owner's gas bill is ridiculous. Computer cars, ridiculous. So I just paid somebody else's $20.28 balance and we're back to square one. That little tab still not unlocking. So apparently, let me turn my flashlight on. Inside the trunk there's a manual release for that tab somewhere. So I'm supposed to be able to manually lower that tab in here. I don't know how. I'm gonna have to learn. Okay, I got it. There is not a red little tab like the internet said. There's a gray little tab in there. You push that forward and it lowers the charger lock, and that's how you release the charging lock. So right now we should be charging. This is on. I'm gonna throw this in here, throw this whole cable in here, and I'm gonna just close the door. There we go. So it should be, let me see if it's charging. Charging disabled when using manual release. You're kidding me, right? Okay, so when you manually release that charging port, it won't charge the car. Charging disabled when using manual release. Close charge port and retry. So just to recap, I have 9% battery life, but my car is stranded with no battery. It won't move. I brought power and a Tesla charging cable to charge the Tesla, but I can't manually release the tab that's locked because if I do, it won't let me charge the car that needs to be charged because nothing will work unless it's charged. That's how electric vehicles work. Close charge port and retry. I just did a hard reset and it said ready to charge, but now it says charging disabled when using manual release. I don't have a option.
Now this is from Wells Fargo. Anybody bank with Wells Fargo? Listen to this. And look, just because you don't bank with Wells Fargo doesn't mean this is not coming to all these other banks and corporations, because it is. You already know that. Here's the headline. Wells Fargo patent describes smart dust for biometric payment verification. According to a detailed LinkedIn post by Joe Petrocelli Mudeman, Wells Fargo has secured an active U.S. patent. This is U.S. 1135466. Yes, guys, I'm not making that up. B1. You can't make this up. That envisions a futuristic layer of biometric security using microscopic sensors known as smart dust. Look at this image. This is what we're talking about here. This is what they want. Payment approved. They're integrating this into biometric payment verifications, smart dust particles. We'll give you more detail about that in just a second. The patent describes micro electromechanical systems, or MEMS, M-E-M-S, motes, tiny dust-like particles equipped with sensors that can be released into the air during transactions to, quote, verify a user's identity in real time. This technology aims to create an invisible multi-layered authentication shield for banking and payments. Hello, buying, selling, and trading. Potentially transforming how identity is confirmed at point-of-sale terminals or through mobile apps. The process unfolds rapidly upon payment initiation. A base station, which can be integrated into a POS terminal, smartphone, or nearby hub, activates and releases the motes near the user. These sensors float or propel themselves into position, gathering intimate biometric and environmental data, including heart rate, blood pressure, body temperature, breathing patterns, facial recognition, voice signatures, and motion profiles. Is this not terrifying? Quote, these motes are stored in the base station or carried by the user in a device. Upon activation, they are released into the air near the user. The patent summary notes selected motes then transmit their readings, each carrying a unique ID, there it is, that forms part of a dynamic smart key. Folks, listen to me. We're talking about the very tools and framework for the Mark of the Beast system. And isn't it ironic that is literally called U.S. Patent U.S. 1135466B1. Now, again, I'm not implying to you that this is the Mark of the Beast, so please don't twist my words. Oh, Brother Ricky said this is the Mark of the Beast. No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying in this is that these are all the framework, setting the stage for this stuff.
The British people that in Germany, nobody at the time knows where the 6 million Jews were killed by the Germans. They all know that this still is the most terrible crime that ever happened in history, done by the Germans. But if you have such a big crime and can't tell us where it happened, it doesn't have any place then this can't be a real fact. Because every crime where you kill just one, but even 6 million, must have a place where it happened. But I myself have asked all the institutes that could know it, even the Center of the Jews in Germany, and all the judges and so on, but nobody could tell me and answer me within 5 years. And after 5 years, questioning all over the Bundesrepublik, I told the Minister for Justice if he now could arrange an open discussion where it happened. I got no answer even from him. From all the others, I even got any answer, never. Not one group or institute or minister or lawyer did answer my question. So I wrote the Minister of Justice. I must take it as a truth that you didn't answer, and therefore I suppose you don't have an answer. But if you don't have an answer, my conclusion is that then the Holocaust didn't exist. And I shall publish this in the internet. And I waited for about 3 or 4 weeks. Even then, I didn't get an answer. And so I wrote into the internet, the Holocaust didn't exist.
Adolf Hitler and his grandmother was impregnated by the Rothschilds in Vienna, and then Hitler's father was paid money to change his name from Schicklgruber to Hitler. This woman here, Marilyn Monroe, was the first presidential sex model slave that they allowed the public to see. James Mansfield, who was under mind control, she was one of JFK's girlfriends, and she's a member of LaVey's Church of Satan, and Sammy Davis Jr. was also under LaVey's control and member of a Church of Satan, and also a good friend of JFK. Now let's look at Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln's mother, Nancy Hanks, was visiting Lincolnton, North Carolina, when she was impregnated by A.A. Springs. A.A. Springs was a descendant of the Rothschilds, and the Springs had changed their name from Springsteen to hide their genealogy, to hide their Rothschild blood. Now, this man here, Leroy Springs, was Abraham Lincoln's half-brother, and he worked for Louis Cass Pasteur, who was one of the most powerful men in the United States of his time. His descendants are still very powerful and are still unknown. He was of the Merovingian dynasty, the 13th Illuminati bloodline.
Again, I noticed it was mentioned here at this conference that, well, everything would have been okay except Hitler was the bad guy, and he kind of screwed everything up. Well, let me tell you, folks, do your homework. Hitler didn't just suddenly appear. Hitler, number one, was a military intelligence agent who was assigned to infiltrate the Nazi Party because they want to rebuild Germany, and they hate the Jews, and they want to rearm, and they want to repudiate the Versailles Treaty. So his superior said, that sounds pretty good. Here's some money. Go back and help out. So they created Hitler. And then as he began to gain more power, who was behind him? Another secret society, the Thule-Gesellschaft, or the Thule Society, made up of some of the leading industrialists, leading intellectuals in Germany at the time. People, and also people who had an intimate working knowledge of the occult. At the time of the Russian Revolution, where was Lenin? He wasn't in Russia. He was in Switzerland. Where was Leon Trotsky, the communist key philosopher? He wasn't in Russia. He was in New York City working for Wall Street capitalists. Lenin was the same thing. We all know that he was put on a sealed railroad car and traveled through wartime Germany that was at war with Russia and was sent on into Russia to take over the government and set up the communist system.
30 years ago yesterday, my friend Bradley Knoll from Sublime was murdered by the Freemasons. How do I know? Because it's the same people that tried to murder me in Nashville. That's what they do to good musicians. Anyhow, I made a movie about it. You can watch it on my Rumble channel, Freemason Numbers. Go to LBC Qualified, and you'll see how I made this movie about Brad's murder. it's a real bummer because, see, they won't allow anybody that's a musician who's good to live. Hendrix, Joplin, Kurt Cobain, right? They take them all out, just like they took out Brad. And so what they did after I was telling everybody that Brad was murdered, they hired my sister from a tiny radio station to go to MTV to make this biorhythm about Bradley Null. And I had this biorhythm before it hit the airwaves in 1998 because they were trying to convince me that Brad OD'd. But I knew Brad didn't OD because I talked to Brad 30 days before he died at the House of Blues in Hollywood. He was tip top. He was sober. He just bought a house. He had his baby boy, and they weren't going to put the record out unless Brad got sober. So Brad had been sober for quite some time. So what happened? They gave him Valium and they gave him a hot shot and they killed him. This is the original Skunk Records sticker. This is my House of Blues ticket, and this is from Brad's wake. I went to Brad's funeral. It was horrible. Lou Dog was running around looking for Brad everywhere and couldn't find him. But if you watch my movie, you'll see. You'll see how they murdered Brad Null from Sublime, and you'll see how they murder these musicians. This is how the world we live in, right? So we love you, Bradley Null. Amazing music. And now you got your son, Jacob, who's evil as fuck, doing the horns and sticking his tongue out and doing the one eye. So ironic, huh? The people that killed Brad, now his son, who's one of them, is the lead singer of Sublime now, making all kinds of money off his dad's coattails. And he sucks. The band fucking sucks. The guitar player sucks. The singing sucks. It all sucks, as it should, because they're Illuminati scumbags. They are the ones who killed my friend Bradley Null. I went to Long Beach State. I almost did the video for Date Rape. Brad and I were pretty good friends. We surfed, see all his shows. I never got caught up in the drug culture with him because I knew him when I was a college buddy, but there you go. There's my ticket from House of Blues. I talked to him right before they killed him. I love you, Bradley. I miss you very much. And do you want to know who killed Bradley Null? Yeah, Skunk and MCA. They killed Brad. They planned on killing him before the Good album. They planned on killing him for 40 Ounces of Freedom. Watch the movie. LBC Qualified on Rumble. I love you all. Peace.
We met with our brothers and sisters in Dominica, the Calanango tribe. Yes. And we wanted to present these gifts to you. This is South from South Island. This was big. We are all... What's the bid rate? Right now. Okay. We are all the children of the current chief of the Guinea Taino tribe of the Virgin Islands. Our mom, Kasike Mohiafan, she handpicked this salt from South Island. And we want to gift it to you along with this. Since St. Thomas is known as Rock City, we wanted to give you this. This is our tool our ancestors used to make. And of course, you got it right.
What is
right
it?
there.
What is it used for?
You could use it for anything. Protection.
Wait, so y'all, wait, that's your real hair?
Yeah.
No way.
Hold it. Yeah.
Wow. What kind of hair is that?
I know. That's what it is. Hey, there we go.
That's crazy.
That's original indigenous. Indigenous hair.
So y'all are indigenous to
brothers and sisters. That's my son right there. Been running with y'all. Island boy.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's our dad.
That's crazy.
I wasn't able to be here, but we wanted to make sure we come by.
This is my family. My mother, this is my dad. We got 12 brothers and sisters. My mother is the cacique of the island, which is in the
Guinea Taino tribe of the Virgin Islands.
The chief. We are the indigenous Indians that are actually here when Columbus came to the island.
Do you have to pay debt collectors?
Do you have to pay a debt collector? Absolutely not. Should you pay a debt collector? Absolutely not. And I'm going to tell you why. You simply don't owe a third-party debt collector a dime. You don't owe it. The person or the entity that you may have owed the money to is the original creditor. Once the original creditor sells that off as a bad debt to a third-party collection agency, they can't come after you anymore, okay? And the third-party debt collector can come after you, but you're not obligated to pay them. I know that sounds a little bit funny. They would have to sue you in order to try to collect money from you, and they've got a long way to go to be able to do that. In most cases, third-party debt collectors don't have all of the information that they need in order to bring a successful suit against you in a court of law. What they have in most cases is simply a spreadsheet that has your name, maybe your address, and maybe an account number on there, and that's pretty much it. If you've been served by a debt collector, that's a different story. If you've been served by a debt collector, one of the first things that you need to look out for is how you were served. Okay? A process server is typically a court officer, and they're sworn, they're certified, or it might be a sheriff deputy. They come to your house and they have documents that they hand you. What they're going to hand you is they're going to hand you a summons and a complaint, and then any compelling evidence, any exhibits, or anything that they may have to in order to prove their case. Can I tell you something? A lot of what I'm seeing right now is a bunch of nonsense. There's a summons, a complaint, and then there's a bunch of credit card statements that go along with that. It looks intimidating. It seems like it's intimidating. It looks like they got you, but they really don't. They have a long way to go before they're able to prove that not only they own the debt and have the wherewithal and the right to be able to collect on that debt and be able to successfully sue you, and they have a long way to go to prove that you even owe that debt to begin with. So listen, guys, there's a lot of things here. There's a lot of moving parts. It can get very convoluted and very complicated, but it's very serious. If you do nothing at all, it's a guaranteed loss, okay? They're going to get a judgment against you, and once they get that judgment, now comes the collection efforts. What happens after that? A writ of garnishment for your wages, a bank levy, a lien on personal property, real estate, things like that. That's what you want to avoid.
I don't really want you to know this. A traffic ticket isn't a criminal charge. It's actually a contract to offer. That piece of paper that cop gives you, right, it's a bait. It's not about law. It's really about your consent. The second you sign it, you show up to court, or you plead guilty, well, you basically have just agreed to stand as a surety for that legal fiction, for that name on a birth certificate. The name in all caps. That's not you. At the end of the day, that's a corporate entity. The system is hoping that you don't know the difference, and you really haven't been knowing the difference, so they've been winning. Most people just don't even know that. Most people, they react out of fear too. Like, they argue, they pay, or they plead. That's it. But here's the power move. Don't argue, don't plead, don't panic. Just correct the record. And do it the proper way, in honor. You can return the offer and say clearly, I'm not the surety. I do not consent. I don't accept the contract. I'm the beneficiary. So, see, this is really all about trust. The court, it assumes you're the trustee, the implied trustee, basically making you liable and obligated. You're the beneficiary of the trust. And if you express private trust, then you know how to shift from underneath that obligation. Beneficiaries, like, they aren't obligated to perform. Once you stand in equity, once you stand in truth, the game, it flips. It flips in your favor. It's not about breaking the law. It's about knowing you were never properly bound by it in the first place. The statutes and codes. You've been tricked into playing a role that was never yours. But when you actually know the rules of equity, you don't need to react. You don't need to respond with, being belligerent. You just stay in honor. You express yourself with clarity, with power and control. Like, stop living as that name on the birth certificate. Stop living as that straw man. Start actually standing as the living being, the living soul that you are. Then, the next time they hand you a ticket, you'll know exactly what it is. It's an offer to contract. And you have every right to basically decline or shift from that obligation.
Wishing each other happy birthday, happy anniversary is a ritual satanic rite. We're literally repeating the idea of entropy in our blood. So every time we calculate years on a Gregorian satanic calendar and look at the clock and see it ticking and, oh my God, we're running out of time. I'm 1 year older, one closer to the grave. If we believe that sufficiently at the collective level, that becomes the manifest reality. That is quantum science, and we understand enough about quantum mathematics, apparently, to realize that we should move beyond programming death into our DNA by celebrating birthdays.
The definition of future, if you look it up in the dictionary, literally Google it. Google the definition of future.
The time or a period of time following the moment of speaking or writing.
Read that again.
The time or a period of time following the moment of speaking or writing.
The definition of the future is the moment you speak or you write something, that is your future. By definition, it's the moment of time following the period of speaking or writing. The moment you speak or write something, by definition, that's your future.
Your creation.
Define past.
Gone by in time and no longer existing.
And what's the next thing?
The time or a period of time before the moment of speaking or writing.
What does that say again?
Same thing, just in the past.
The moment or period of time before you speak or write. So the moment you speak or write something, that becomes your future. Anything prior to that moment is now your past. Most people recreate their past because they just keep talking about the past. So it becomes the future all over again. Or you will say, I want to make $100,000. And then you start speaking, God, let me just make enough money to pay my bills. So God says, you get enough money to pay your bills, but you don't get the $100,000. You stop speaking that. That became your past the moment you start speaking something else.
There are white people who paid $5 or some such amount in order to be ushered in. They work systematically to keep us out.
Put on the roll.
Jason can tell you better.
Okay, which role? Put on which role?
The Dawes role.
When did that start?
Dawes role started about the 1870s, but there were roles prior to that. But the Dawes role is the main role.
Okay, the Dawes role. Is there such thing as the freedom role?
There's no such thing as a freedom role, but that was just a law that they had done.
Okay.
And that was really more so with the British than it was with the United States. You see the movie The Book of Names? That's where the Book of Names came from. Those were those that went to Nova Scotia first.
Okay. So if you're on the Dawes roll as a black person as well, you can get the same benefit?
It depends. You have to look your lineage up. If it's on the Dawes roll, you look to see whether it's male or female. But there were roles prior to that, but the Dawes roll is the main role that they use.
So why were white people able to just get it?
Because when they started giving out land allotments, they were paying other whites $5 to put their name on the roll. And they just had, just this week, they had a meeting and they filmed all of these white people are outraged because they just started making them do the DNA like they make everybody else. And they didn't pass the DNA, and so now they're mad.
Are they going to lose their benefits?
Yeah, they don't get any. And they're quite upset.
These are the folks that's over the tribes. Them the engines that's gonna tell us that we engines or not. Them guys. They gonna tell you if you Indian or not, baby. Get your genealogy done so you can go in there with the right shit. Oh my God. Damn, I guess one of those are my cousins.
There's a viral trend around a Natasha doll in China, a black baby stress toy. Chinese social media users are filming themselves squeezing, stretching, and brutalizing the doll for entertainment. When asked why the Natasha doll had to be black, one Chinese social media user responded that a white baby, for example, would be too human and people would feel bad for hurting it. The Natasha doll is disturbing as is, and now Chinese social media users are filming themselves with real-life Natasha dolls. There are so many videos and entire channels dedicated to showing Chinese people abusing black babies, and then laughing about it. Content creator Shalom M took a deep dive on the many ways in which Chinese social media has created an entire market for abusing, harassing, and dehumanizing African children. She mentions how the BBC did an entire documentary on a Chinese man who was living in Malawi and filming children without the consent of their parents and selling those videos to said Chinese market. China has a great firewall on all social media apps that are not Chinese owned. So they have their own apps like RedNote, WeChat, and more. Which means a lot of the content posted on these Chinese social media apps stays within China and is specifically targeted towards a Chinese audience and what they like. There's an entire market of Chinese adults who enjoy watching videos of black African children being abused.
Take these two stops.
Evening, folks.
Is my brake light?
Yes, ma'am.
I have an appointment for it to get fixed. In the first, a driver is pulled over for a broken brake light. Before the officer even runs her license, he tells the ICE agent waiting nearby,
Striking out.
She's let go without any further questions.
You are good to go.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Now compare that to these stops.
Let you amigo identification?
You have your license? Do you have an ID as well, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
Hola.
You don't have you got a licencia on you?
Ma'am, do you have a driver's license?
In most cases, when a driver looks Latino or speaks with an accent,
Hey, you want to check the other occupants?
officers ask everyone in the car for identification.
Hey, yeah, I'm asking you. Do you have a license?
I'm not driving.
But when the driver looks white,
Cool, man. Did you just buy this thing? I'll be right back with you, okay? You're gonna be good. You got your license, registration, insurance?
Can I reach for it?
Yeah. You got any weapons in the car?
Yeah, right under my seat. That's why I stuck my hands out the thing.
Okay, well, you don't reach for it, I won't reach for mine.
the footage also shows officers stopping black and brown drivers for minor issues.
I have a problem? Yeah, the window tint.
Like a tinted window, a license plate without a light.
You gotta have the lights that illuminate your license plate.
Even a bent plate that's still clearly readable.
It's like bent in half.
Then come the questions.
Are you from Nashville? You born here? How long have you been in the country?
Were you born here?
This is what racial profiling looks like.
Were you born here in the United States?
She trying to snatch
Hey,
my
you
phone.
can't do that.
Mama,
You
she
can't
trying
do
to pull
that.
me out.
Wait, y'all, wait. What? Wait, stop, y'all. I don't have nothing. I don't have nothing.
All right, walk over here with us. Walk back here. What's going on with this guy?
You know, it's illegal to say you're a federal officer when you're not.
So now you call me a liar? You don't have to have them, just letting you know.
Can I see it?
No, just take my word for it, okay?
No, can I see it?
No. I just told
you.
You
know,
to
it's illegal to say you're a federal officer when you're not.
So now you call me a liar?
Can I see your badge, please?
You can.
He just
look at
showed
it.
you.
See the picture there?
He just showed you his badge. So I need
I'm
to see
enforcement, HUD, and DOJ, yes. So now you've accused me of being a liar.
Okay, let me see your badge.
No, you've seen it.
You're going to go under arrest here in a
No, you're
very
not.
quick
You're not
minute.
gonna arrest me.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
Unless-
Because
unless you know what
why
you're
is this cop
so
adamant that this dude
is not a
federal
officer?
You're saying that you're a federal officer.
Call your supervisor right now.
Let me see your badge, please.
Call your supervisor.
I'm a
Call your
supervisor.
No. I want another supervisor.
Let me see your badge.
I want another supervisor.
Let me see your badge.
No, call your supervisor.
Get your badge out and show us.
No, I will not.
He just showed you
Man,
twice.
You think I'm stupid? I'm also a lawyer as well.
Really?
You've already called me a Yes, I am.
Okay.
You've already called me a liar. I'm sorry to see you.
Hey, just stand right here. Stand right here.
Unless I'm under arrest.
Stand right here. You're being
Unless
detained.
I'm under arrest.
You're
No,
being
no,
detained.
I'm
You're
not being
detained.
detained. Yes,
You're
I am a
being
lawyer.
detained. Yes, you are.
Call your supervisor.
This guy's claiming to be he's
Call your supervisor.
federal officer.
That's right. Call your supervisor. You arresting me?
You're being detained right now.
No, are
You're
you
being
arresting me?
detained.
That means
suspicion.
nothing.
Yes.
That means nothing.
Do you know how much crack you had to be found with to get 10 years in prison? 50 grams. It's not a lot. In 1986, the Federal Reserve mandated anyone found with 50 grams of crack was to be sentenced 10 years in prison. Do you know how much cocaine you had to have to get that same sentencing, 10 years? 5,000 grams of cocaine. This is a 1:100 ratio, crack to cocaine. Why? Because crack was pushed onto black neighborhoods. That is systematic racism.
But why are you being arrested though?
I don't know, but that
But why are you being arrested though?
I don't know, but that
Yes, sir.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Talk to me right here.
I understand that you own one of these as well.
No,
That's
it's
the-
not
this
one of them.
right?
No, it's not one of them. Talk to me.
Huh?
Talk to me. I'm listening.
I'm asking you. You own one of these, but not this one.
I
Specifically,
own
right?
all of them, yes.
So they have a trespassing affidavit.
I own this one too.
Okay. He's saying you don't.
I don't. I know what he's saying. I own. I bought this store. I
Okay.
bought this
So
store.
how come
This
you're
is
not
my
allowed
store.
to your own store if you
I
bought
don't
it?
know what you're talking about. I'm not
Well,
allowed.
they're not
I've never
allowing
seen
it
it.
because you locked it up.
What? Why?
The actual owner, you saw him walking in there.
I'm the
So
actual
he's got,
owner.
He's
I'm
got
the
the
actual owner.
affidavit already signed off for trespassing.
What affidavit?
The affidavit that they showed me. And I'll show it to you gladly. But if they're asking you to leave,
I'm
you're
not
refusing
leaving.
to leave?
You can show me the affidavit.
Okay,
bro.
put your hands behind your
No,
back.
show me the
Put your hands
affidavit.
behind your back.
What for what?
Easy. Trespassing. Easy. Stand up for me.
Man,
Easy.
can I?
You resist, it's another charge.
Nah, bro, I'm not
You
resisting.
resist, it's
I'm not
another
resisting,
charge.
bro. I'm
You
not
said
resisting.
something, you resist. I'm stacking another
I'm
charge.
not resisting, bro.
You pulling your arm away from
No, I'm
me.
not resisting, bro. I can't believe
Relax.
you're doing this, dog.
Relax. Hands behind.
Bro, come on, dog. I can't believe you're doing this shit, dog. Bro, come on, man. I ain't do nothing, dog. Why
Put your
you
hands
doing this, bro?
behind
Why you doing this,
back.
dog? I ain't do nothing. Bro, this is not right, dog.
I got suspect resistant.
That's not right, dog.
Hands behind your
No,
back.
man, get off me, man. Get off me, man.
Behind.
No, I ain't do nothing, dog.
You're under arrest.
No, I'm not.
Trespassing.
You ain't even show me no affidavit.
I ain't gonna show you nothing.
Yeah, you
right
do.
Now. Get your hands behind your back.
Nah, man.
You're already sticking enough charge. You want your taste?
No, I ain't do nothing.
Taste?
What you gonna tase me for?
Feel that? You got about 3 seconds to comply, or I'm about to take
What you gonna tase me for, bro? Ah! Bro, what you gonna say? I ain't do nothing, bro. Nah, bro.
Kill, not just hurt, kill. Possibility, yeah, right. And that bothers me too. We already have drones. We don't need drones that are triggered by the flock cameras.
We did sign into a contract with Flock for the DFR program, who we already have for the LPRs throughout the county. This is going to integrate with the LPRs that we have. So if we get a stolen vehicle that drives through and hits it, the drone pilot would automatically get an alert with the GPS coordinates and the location. Hit a button, the drone will go up to the predetermined altitude and fly directly to that. When the drone is being launched and flying to a location, the camera is facing straight forward. Once we're on site, the pilot takes over, tilt the camera down, and start searching for whatever we're looking for. Once it needs a battery swap, it comes back, lands, we can send the other one right back up, and we can just leapfrog them to keep it in the air almost continuously. And obviously drones will only get better.
The technology is beneficial because it takes up the slack of how many police officers, right? How much funding is saved by implementing this? No different than the flock cameras. It's essentially like having a police officer stationed at each of those locations that we have flock cameras.
When is it too much? This is
Yes.
too much.
Absolutely.
You can have the vote, but I assure you my vote is no already. With these not even being in line of sight, how much do the drones weigh?
Just under 22 pounds.
22 pounds from 200 feet. How much is the G-force for that?
That's the calculations I don't have.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is the cavity back phased array electronic assault weapon. I've just cut the wires there. That's what everybody needs to do, or take the unit down. That's an illegal fitting that can kill people. It's a direct energy weapon. So all these units are going to be disabled. This is our defence in law, as long as you've got the flies on you. Yeah. That's now disabled, that can't kill anybody. So all these will get done round here. They'll either get the wires cut or they'll get taken down. Alright people, this is in Yorkshire. And this is what we're doing to save the children. It's right near a school as well. So, fuck the WEF, fuck the government, fuck 15-minute cities. We're not putting up with this shit. The Yorkshire Blade Runners are on it.
Holy shit, somebody finally found the confiscated video that the FBI took on the day of 9/11, where it was proving it wasn't a plane, it was a Scud missile. There was talk amongst the community, because I've been awake for 20 years since this happened, that there was a Scud missile. The witnesses were silenced. The person who had this tape that turned it over to the FBI concealed this information. And as you can see, that is not a plane. That is a Scud missile, as originally thought. Fucking deep state cabal, you sons of bitches. Those who knew, we already knew you did shit. But this was the last piece of the puzzle for the evidence. With that whole entire crap with the 9/11 report, they said it disintegrated. That is a Scud missile. Swedish satellite saw that there was a marking target, and that was completely put aside, and you all bought the lie. Heavenly Father, let truth prevail.
So Epstein, he buys up all these scientists. They get laid off down there in New Mexico, and he buys them all up, and he starts hiring them, and he does it for edge.org. What they're trying to do is they're trying to solve the psychoid layer. The psychoid layer is like where you know the world is magic. Like, you know this is a realm of God. But you forget, and you go back to work to make money, to pay the bills, and you get into the toil of things, but you really know that it's a spiritual realm. But they know it's a spiritual realm. They don't have a secondary thing. They already have all the money, so they're just figuring out what the psychoid is. So the way that they would try to solve the psychoid is through the wave interference pattern. The wave interference pattern is where they shoot these electrons through these two slits, and as you observe the electron, it stays in physical form. But if you're not observing it, the electrons turn into waves, and the waves can split between slits, and whenever they go through, they bounce off each other, and then those waves bounce and those waves bounce, and it causes a wave interference pattern. That's not exact, but that's the basics behind it. Because I don't want some asshole telling me, let's hold this slightly this. I know what it is. Because the reason I know what it is because that's what they're studying, and they're studying the way that these fractal patterns happen in reality. And once you understand that, you kind of can understand that money isn't real. It's an illusion. But you believe it's real, but really it's energy. And it's these little energy bubbles that exist beyond the veil of consciousness. Beyond the veil are energy bubbles, and in the energy bubbles, they have modalities. And these modalities have codes that are not changeable. But you can project onto them through these waves and call it a submodality, which slightly changes the energy. So you're broke, you're poor, you have money, you don't have money. It's not real. And try your best. Something happens. That's the way it is. That's why you have $10,000 and you're like, saved it up. Whoops, the motor blown up. I have zero. Because it's energy. It's a flow of energy. So they want to solve that, and they also want to solve the translatory language beyond the Yoganandan dialect, this language that gets spoken, grunts and symbols from the ancient times, which form onto these modalities symbols that have entanglements, and those entanglements have emotional charge and all this stuff. And it's too much for the human mind. Like, you can see it happening, you can watch it happening, and people can walk along with me and they'll be like, oh my God, that's freaking, no way that you could do that, no way. But it's just because it's just really obvious. It's really obvious. That's why I think that they're doing the aliens anyways, because if they start tampering with this stuff, you're going to see some weird stuff happening, you know? Obviously, some weird things are going to happen if somebody's messing with that kind of stuff. We already had CERN. We already have the Mandela effect. And that could be explained pretty easily through neurolinguistic coding. If you start tampering with the neurolinguistic code of the universal mind, it's the dialect. If you touch the dialect slightly, you could transform. When you change the neurolinguistics, you don't just change the moment, you change what the moment has always been and what it will be in the future. And you can just alter those things. It's just, I sometimes think maybe that's what when Jesus could see it, he already could tell. He knew it. He already knew he was in the psychoid all the time. Because he knew he was in the psychoid. So he didn't have an illusion of a false world. He was just in the psychoid. So you would just touch on these waves. And if each wave is bumping onto each other, causing the pattern of another wave, which bounces on and causes another wave, you could just add certain submodalities to these waves. So submodalities like a table. A table exists. But whenever I said the word table, you thought of a certain table. So I am saying it must be a table. But you're saying it could be many types of tables. So the type of table is the submodality. So the modality could be hair. Hair. What type of hair exists? But you project onto it what type of hair it is, long or short, and that is a reflection of your inner psyche speaking to you in accordance with the entanglements of your emotional life. Your emotional life is entangled with physical reality through this and projected onto the modality in the form of a submodality. And that's just the way it really is. And it's like, it's super complicated to say, but if you just see it, you just go, yeah, it's right there. It's freaking obvious. It's like, you could look at a picture and see. I always think of it like when we used to dream, we look back in our mind and we're dreaming and we're thinking and we're talking to God, we're talking to the universal mind, and we're dreaming a world, you know? But now when you dream, when you have problems, when you're solving problems, when you have a problem, you look into your phone and you put the problem into your phone and you project, and the recorder of that is no longer the universal mind. It's the AI.
They are the Alcatraz escapees. Do you know the real names of the Apollo 11 astronauts before they became astronauts?
Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but that's not their original names.
Oh, okay. What were their original names?
Michael Collins was known as Frank Morris. Armstrong was known as Clarence Anglin. And Buzz Aldrin was John Anglin.
Oh.
And why did they change their names, Rob?
They are the Alcatraz escapees.
So, Rob, they escaped from Alcatraz to become astronauts?
They were given a pardon if they would join in and comply.
But what about all the training for years they would have had to do?
To do what?
Yeah.
To go where?
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, it is very obvious, and I'm sure most of you have noticed this already. Notice the Earth in the background? They're supposed to be in space, but it's flat. The horizon is flat. Not round, but flat. So I'm guessing that China forgot to use the fisheye lens for this view right here. Now let's look at it from another Chinese news network. Now here we are again with a flat horizon. Actually, it's more concave flat in this video. But what I want you to pay attention to is watch this strap just come out of thin air. It even looks like it kind of went in the clouds there a little bit. You see that? Okay, looks like on this one here they actually added the fisheye lens. But I want you to watch the astronaut's feet. Watch it disappear in the same spot the strap disappeared into. Watch this right here, look. So that tells me they're using some kind of split screen and putting two images together right here. And you can really see it right here when they show the sun coming over the horizon. Once again, it's a flat horizon, but look right in the center of your screen. The sunlight just stops. It's a split all the way down the center of the screen. You see that right there? And then there's total blackness on the other side. Now, right here, they actually do show a fisheye lens or some kind of split screen, as you can see the sun coming over the supposedly curved Earth. Look at that line straight down the middle right there. There's a split in this. They're putting two pieces together. It's trickery, people. Trickery. See that split right in the screen? Now watch it pop in. Look, check that out. Oh my goodness, China. Y'all weren't trained with the green screens and the CGI very well at all. Okay, now look at this one. This one right here is a really, really good one. Check it out. Look at the Earth. Look at the land mass there. Where's the oceans at? The Earth's supposed to be 2/3 water. Where's the ocean at right here, people? Nothing but land. CGI bullcrap, people.
As I will prove it here again, two different NASA missions claimed ownership of the same footage, making them liars. And the propagandists can't claim it's a simple mistake because both mission astronauts commented on the video as though they witnessed the event, and the second video was even altered slightly. Let's first watch the STS-32 mission, which launched on January 9th, 1990. I pulled the video from this channel, and the timestamp is there too in case you want to look it up yourself. I will fast forward to the footage at issue.
The most difficult part about a shuttle mission is getting a whole crew to...
I want to see rockets that big. You see some of the ice floating around as the external tank comes off after the fuel is expended. This is on orbit after 8.5 minutes. Again, from that same camera in the belly of the vehicle, kind of a unique view of the external tank going down. This is the one part of the whole system that is not recovered. It breaks up in the atmosphere and lands in the Pacific Ocean in our case.
Now, let's watch the footage from STS-78, which was launched on June 20th, 1996. And this is where I pulled the video from. I'll fast forward again to the footage in question.
Here we are suiting up at the Kennedy Space Center for our launch on June 20th.
Well, it was just absolutely fantastic to see be in space and see this great piece of American technology come off the external tank. It was really difficult for Rick and I to focus on getting pictures of this because here we saw the Earth and land masses and the oceans floating beneath us. But the external tank just did a super job.
Now let's watch the two separate videos synced. Remember, these videos were supposedly filmed over 6 years apart. If you're really paying attention, you might notice that the two videos are almost identical, but not 100%. Yes, they most certainly use the same footage, but the one on the right includes a few more particles, and I don't think it's just the increased brightness. Which means they manipulated the footage further, which only proves that this was willful deception. I guess the liars at NASA were just a bit lazy this time. I grabbed a few stills to show you some of the slight differences. You might have to pause it to see the changes. The logic is simple. This is just one small example of a NASA lie.
Vote for me, 'cause fucking Antarctica. Oh, okay. Nothing to see down there. Then why are all y'all fucking down there? We finna see. 'Cause I'm running for shit.
Oh, I found her, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, the infamous, notorious, secretive Melissa Cargill. She was literally one of the moving forces behind the psychedelic revolution and the Summer of Love. As the primary chemist for this man, Owsley Stanley, the creator of Owsley acid, the preferred acid of the Beatles, Brian Wilson, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and countless others. But Melissa is also a part of the very notorious Cargill family. Yes, the Cargill family, who's the #1 provider and miners of phosphate in the world, and who has countless modern human rights violations, including slavery and forced child labor, which is also slavery. But after this billionaire heiress helped to create and design the psychedelic revolution that derailed the lives and careers of greats like Brian Wilson, she disappeared, or so the legend goes, until today. Because I found her, folks. Because as it turns out, she is now Melissa Jeffress, living in remote Australia. But wouldn't you know that finding Melissa has only really opened up a lot more interesting wormholes, because as it turns out, she's married to this man, Jerry Jeffress. You might know him as the creator of the technology that they used to film a little thing called Star Wars. Yes, that Star Wars. Now, before Jeffress ended up on the set of Star Wars, filming some really cool special effects that changed films forever, he was involved in some government-funded psychological environmental research at Berkeley, which is where his future wife, Melissa, and her then beau, Owsley Stanley were producing and dealing LSD and STP, while the CIA was simultaneously funding experimentation and research and a lot of other heinous things at those universities. Jeffress and his research partner John Dykstra got a lot of attention at Berkeley for this research, which is what got them the government funding. But it would also allow Jeffress to go on and form ILM, which would work with Lucasfilm on Star Wars, which according to Melissa's CV, which is still posted on her 2004 website, that's where she met Jeffress. I'm sure they didn't meet in the Berkeley chemistry program that they both attended with Stanley. Anyway, to say that this has opened up another leg of the rabbit hole is an understatement. Because a lot of the stuff Melissa Cargill was getting up to coincided with some major government operations like COINTELPRO and Operation Chaos, which I'll be going into.
Come on, guys, you're crazy if you think that Anne Frank's story is a hoax. I mean, it's not like our history books were written by Jewish pedophiles. Oh, wait. Oh, Robert Maxwell actually bought out McGraw-Hill textbooks, and those are the books we learned from? I'm sure they're not lying to us, though. Check it out.
The original diary manuscript was forensically examined by the German State Forensic Bureau, the Bundeskriminalamt. Their analysis determined that significant portions of the work were written with a ballpoint pen. Since ballpoint pens were not available to everyone before 1951, portions of the work were added well after the war. Handwriting experts determined after closer examination of the originals that all of the writing in the diary was by the same hand, and the BKA determined that none of the diary handwriting matched known examples of Anne's real handwriting. The true author of the diary was Jewish novelist Meir Levine, who demanded and was awarded $50,000 in payments for his work in a court action against Anne's father, Otto Frank. The truth about the Anne Frank diary was first exposed in 1959 by the Swedish journal Fria Ord. It established that the Jewish novelist Meir Levine had written the dialogue of the diary and was demanding payment for his work in a court action against Otto Frank. An extract from the Swedish articles appeared in the American Economic Council letter, April 15, 1959, as follows. History has many examples of myths that live a longer and richer life than truth, and may become more effective than truth. The Western world has for some years been made aware of a Jewish girl through the medium of what purports to be her personally written story, Anne Frank's diary. Any informed literary inspection of this book would have shown it to have been impossible as the work of a teenager. A noteworthy decision of the New York State Supreme Court confirms this point of view, in that the well-known American Jewish writer Meir Levine has been awarded $50,000 to be paid him by the father of Anne Frank as an honorarium for Levine's work on the Anne Frank diary. Evidence compiled by Dr. Robert Farrison of France establishes that the famous diary is a literary hoax. After doing substantial research, Professor Farrison stated, "The truth obliged me to say that the diary of Anne Frank is only a simple literary fraud."
We all know that this man started the Trail of Tears. But did you know that he did that illegally? A teacher probably taught you that the Trail of Tears was a sad relocation of Native American people, rather than a forced death march orchestrated by the US government. And the key detail they leave out is that Native people actually won in court to have the right to stay on their land. In the 1830s, the Cherokee Nation was primarily living in the southeast, mainly around Georgia. They had farms, schools, and even their own constitution. But yet they were called uncivilized. They were adapting in every way that the settlers wanted them to. But then gold was discovered. The Georgia was like, you gotta go. And the Cherokee Nation fought back legally, and they won in the Supreme Court. Which is why when so many of you say that we lost the war, actually legally, we won in court. In the Supreme Court case, you can look it up yourself, Worcester versus Georgia. And it was ruled that their land was sovereign and protected. Our buddy Andrew Jackson, he ignored that ruling. Let me say this again. The highest court in the United States ruled and said they can stay. But this man said, nah, no, I don't care about the court of law. So in 1830, the Indian Removal Act was passed. And by 1838, U.S. soldiers forced 16,000 Cherokee people off of their lands. They were marched 1,000 miles from Georgia to Oklahoma. No food, no proper shelter, no medical care, and about 4,000 people were unalived from starvation, exposure, and disease. And loved ones were buried right at the side of the road. This is why it's called the Trail of Tears. It wasn't about losing a war. It was a deliberate policy of land theft, enforced by military power and in direct violation of the law. And it didn't just happen to the Cherokee. Many nations across North America, not just the United States, experienced forced removal. So when we talk about American history, let's be accurate in how we do it and stop spreading false narratives when natives like the Cherokee took every legal step and won, even though in the end, none of it mattered.
Why do you think Donald Trump was fighting the release of the Epstein files?
Why do I think?
Yeah.
I don't think it needed to be released. None of us needed to see that stuff. There's worse things that John F. Kennedy did.
And then with children? He was doing stuff with children?
No.
Okay.
I don't think any of them did that.
You don't think that...
Jeffrey Epstein did. I don't think Trump did.
Okay. But Epstein, like, there were victims who said there were high profile people, billionaires, class who were, they were being trafficked to.
Right. I don't know. I've watched enough of it. I just don't think I don't think it's our business what happened with all those people. I don't.
Well, like, should the people who committed the crime, should they face judgment?
Yes, they should face criminal charges. Yes.
And so, I guess, why do you think Trump was fighting the release of them?
I think the whole cabinet was fighting the release. It wasn't just him. I think his whole cabinet was fighting the release.
But why? I guess why?
The same reason why we didn't know everything about World War II. I mean, we didn't. I mean, this is newsworthy, but I just don't think it's that newsworthy. I don't think we need to have it shoved in our face every day.
Right. But him tweeting out, "Stop talking about Epstein."
Yep.
That didn't seem odd to you?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Epstein's dead. Let it go. You know what I mean?
What do you mean to do about that?
What should you do about it?
I have nothing to do about that.
How do you
What
feel
do you
about
want,
how do you feel about Donald Trump shooting missiles at Venezuelan fishermen?
Love it.
Why do you love it?
Because he's bringing fentanyl and
on fishing boats. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought drug cartels use cargo ships and big tankers.
Right.
So you're telling me that the fentanyl opioid crisis of America is being done by Venezuelan fishermen on 8-man boats. You know why you love it? Because white people are sociopaths. You suffer from a condition called Freudenfrieder. It's an actual psychological condition. You know what it is? Is you get joy and pleasure from the pain and death of innocent people, man. Right. That's the sickness and the psychosis of white people, man. That's what it is. You love seeing them shoot missiles at poor fishermen. Right. Why don't you shoot missiles at Afghanistan? Who killed the 2 National Guards in D.C. this week? Was it Venezuelans? Was it Hispanics?
Who was it?
Why aren't ICE agents going after Afghanistanians? Weren't we at war with Afghanistan for 10 years? Isn't that where the fentanyl is coming from?
Right.
The poppy fields in Afghanistan?
Right.
But you want ICE agents to go after Hispanics at elementary schools, at graduations, at Home Depot, hardworking Hispanics? That's who you pursue? The white man is a coward.
That's right.
The white man is a coward.
That's right.
He doesn't want a real fight with actual terrorists. He wants to fight the innocent. He wants to fight the poor.
I'm the only one raising money. It's the lobbyists who are just giving the money. My opponent, Ed, he was promised this money if he would just run against me. And it's all coming from Miriam Adelson, Paul Singer, and John Paulson. Some of them were in the Epstein files. Some of them just have dinner with people in the Epstein files. They're all buddies with the CEO of the World Economic Forum, which I took out with the Epstein files. They're buddies with Prince Andrew. That's their social circles.
Who's no longer a prince because of the Epstein files?
He's no longer a prince. The British ambassador to the United States is no longer a British ambassador. I mean, but more importantly, they've been arrested. Yeah. That's some accountability we haven't seen here. They're afraid that I am bringing accountability to the billionaire class in the United States. They've seen it coming in Europe, and my election day tomorrow will be the 6-month anniversary of me getting the Epstein Files Transparency Act passed. And so to the day. Wow. But there's another reason the billionaires are upset with me, because it is about Israel for them. It's about foreign aid.
Well, look, the salary of Congress has been frozen since 2009. When you adjust for inflation, a member of Congress today is making 31% less than they made in that year. It goes down every year. And over time, if you stay on this trajectory, you're going to have less qualified people who are willing to make the extreme sacrifice to run for Congress. I mean, it's just people just make a reasonable decision as a family on whether or not they can come and move to Washington, have a residence here, a residence at home, and do all the things that are required. So the counter argument is, and I have some sympathy, look, at least let them engage in some stock trading so that they can continue to take care of their family.
What's the headline here? The stock market's rigged. The United States stock market, the most iconic market in global capitalism, is rigged. By whom? By a combination of the stock exchanges, the big Wall Street banks, and high-frequency traders. Who are the victims? Everybody who has an investment in the stock market.
Michael Lewis isn't talking about the stock market that you see on television every day. That ceased to be the center of U.S. financial activity years ago and exists today mostly as a photo op. This is the stock market that Lewis is talking about, the one where most of the trades take place now, inside hundreds of thousands of these black boxes located at more than 60 public and private exchanges, where billions of dollars in stock change hands every day with little or no public documentation. Trades are being made by thousands of robot computers programmed to buy and sell every stock on the market at speeds 100 times faster than you can blink an eye. The system's so complex, it's all but invisible.
If it wasn't complicated, it wouldn't be allowed to happen. The complexity disguises what is happening. If it's so complicated you can't understand it, then you can't question it.
And this is all being done by computers?
All being done by computers. It's too fast to be done by humans. Humans have been completely removed from the marketplace.
Fast is the operative word. Machines with secret programs are now trading stocks in tiny fractions of a second, way too fast to be seen or recorded on a stock ticker or computer screen, faster than the market itself. High-frequency traders, big Wall Street firms, and stock exchanges have spent billions to gain an advantage of a millisecond for themselves and their customers, just to get a peek at stock market prices and orders a flash before everyone else, along with the opportunity to act on it.
The insiders are able to move faster than you. They're able to see your order and play it against other orders in ways you don't understand. They're able to front run your order.
What do you mean front run?
It means they're able to identify your desire to buy shares in Microsoft and buy them in front of you and sell them back to you at a higher price. It all happens in infinitesimally small periods of time. Their speed advantage that the faster traders have is milliseconds, sometimes fractions of milliseconds. But it's enough for them to identify what you're going to do and do it before you do it at your expense.
So it drives the price up.
So it drives the price up, and in turn you pay a higher price.
Here are a few photos of the California babies who have died the same day that they got their shots, brought to the steps of California State Capitol yesterday. This is within an hour of people asking for people to bring photos. Within 1 hour. You hear that? After one shot. This is why I'm telling parents all the time, just stop. Just stop. The kids are born perfect. God made them perfect, and you're not supposed to inject them, especially day one or the whole first year when barely anyone's touching them. No, I would not let any of that poison go into my kids, especially now that we've all seen what's going on and how much they're being sued over this COVID stuff. I mean, they just lie and lie and lie. They've never healed anyone. Stop trusting these pharmaceutical industry and medical industry overall. I mean, it's just outrageous. But this is just in 1 hour. All these pictures were brought here just from kids dying. It's horrible. It's horrible. How can anyone back this? And I can't believe people still fight for this. It's unbelievable. Of course, entertainment purposes only.
Correct. It was a Soviet study. These Soviet scientists found that both tumors and parasites and these antiparasitics exerted similar mechanisms, and they found that it exerted anti-cancer activity in animals. And that study was classified by the CIA in the 50s and not declassified until 2011. So, that did significantly set back some of this vital cancer research.
Day 51, reading the Epstein files out loud until every last one is tossed feet first into a wood chipper. This is an FBI intake form, and it is a victim's testimony. It says, I was trafficked from Nashville, Tennessee to New York City in 1988 when I was 19 years old by the ring of criminals connected to Jeffrey Epstein. I was taken by van in exchange for an Australian girl, redacted, my age, who went back to Nashville. A woman named Redacted drove, and she was paid by people in the music business I can identify. I was handed over to put me to work at an escort service on East 63rd between 1st and 2nd or 2nd and 3rd, run by a woman named Redacted, who sent me to a group sex party the owner, her boyfriend Jeffrey, was hosting. There were 2 other girls my age or younger, though not too much younger. I was asked to massage Jeff, and the other girls used a vibrator on me. I worked there a few weeks and ran credit cards on an imprint for a company called Carly Enterprise or something Carlisle Entertainment Group. My paychecks for credit card transactions had one of those names. My next recruiter was a woman named Redacted, who worked with another recruiter, Redacted. I became connected through Redacted with the band Blues Traveler. and was approached by a Cuban coke dealer named Redacted who worked in the IT department for CBS Records to introduce him to the band. I was trafficked from Nashville through a band, Jason and the Scorchers, who were also trafficking cocaine. I lived with Redacted and his redacted male companion for several months. I believe that I understand the connections of my story back through Nashville and the criminal nightlife business. My father, Redacted, was connected to the people who employed my traffickers, and I suspect he has engaged in pedophilia and pornography, although I have no solid evidence. He has a YouTube channel with videos I believe are designed to trigger me. I have names, dates, connections about the drug and sex trafficking I was pulled into as a teenager. Later, I worked for Music City Marketing. That had its own FBI investigation and federal lawsuit in the 90s. Some bad guys I'm tired of running.
Hopper's car was equipped with flashing emergency lights, a siren, and an external public address system.
So you mean to tell me a guy in that exact band with the 2 female traffickers, he has night vision, a taser, and his car is dressed up to impersonate a cop to the fullest extent? Yeah, that's not a coincidence.
This dentist left his practice in the 1930s and spent years traveling to the most remote populations on Earth, not to study teeth, to study what happens to a civilization when it switches to processed foods. His name was Dr. Weston A. Price. What he found should have changed everything. Every traditional population he studied, Swiss villages, Peruvian highlanders, African tribes, Pacific islanders, had virtually no cavities, no crowded teeth, no narrow dental arches, and no chronic disease. They had strong facial structure, wide palates, and upright posture and dense bones. In other words, the natural version of looks maxing. Then he studied the same populations 1 generation after the contact with Western processed foods. They had narrower jaws, crowded teeth, forward head posture, increased cavities, increased chronic disease. Within 1 generation. Not because of their genetics. Their genetics hadn't changed. Their food changed. Price identified the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K2 as the activators of proper skeletal facial development. He called K2 activator X because he couldn't identify it chemically at the time. Modern research confirmed it decades later. What he documented in 1939 in the book Nutrition and Physical Degeneration is one of the most important books in the history of human health. The food changes the face. The food changed the structure. The structure changed function. The function determines your health. This is the maximum vitality framework, and a dentist proved it with a camera and a microscope in the 1930s.
What about mixing cottons and blends?
Do you know why he said that?
No.
Okay, so linen has a frequency of 5,000, positive 5,000. Wool has a frequency of negative 5,000. So if you stitch the two together, it makes 0. That's why he said don't mix linen and wool. I did a whole thing on this. And so if you're going to wear linen, you just want to make, like, linen can be mixed with cotton or rayon or whatever. It just can't be mixed with a frequency that's going to cancel it out, because linen actually heals the body. So does wool.
So what is this?
Is it cotton?
I don't know.
If it's cotton, then cotton, I think it's like got like 100. It's like a frequency of like 100, but it still heals. But if you wear polyester, it's like a 15, so it's like actually negatively affecting your body. So that's why, like, when a lot of men have testosterone issues, I'm like, what underwear are you wearing? Because if it's polyester and if it's not 100% organic cotton, them boys are suffering.
We fed it into all the major AI models, all the major AI large language models, Grok, ChatGPT, and Gemini, and we asked it, do vaccines cause autism? Read our study, yes or no. And all 3 of them, Grok, Gemini, ChatGPT, all said, yes, the vaccines cause autism. It is one of the most comprehensive studies ever done on the causes of autism. And we looked at all of the causes, every single one. We document all of them. But one stood out and appeared to have been the most significant was vaccinations. Childhood vaccinations was a major modifiable risk factor. What that means is you can change if your child will get autism or not. It's modifiable, right? You don't have to inject your child with 72 doses by age 18. And so the key finding here, though, is that we found 136 vaccine-related studies, 136 Guess what percent found a positive link between vaccines and neurodevelopmental disorders? 79% of them. So 79% of all these vaccine-related studies inferred that there is actually a positive link between these vaccines or their components and autism or neurodevelopmental disorders or brain damage. So it's quite unequivocal. And we see the autism rates track up in lockstep with more vaccine doses. You'll see the graph. It literally just goes up as more vaccines are administered to children. After the 1986 National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act, autism rates follow. Now we're at 1 in 31 children. Like 8% of boys in California are autistic, 1 in 12. I mean, so you can't even make this stuff up. It's literally a major epidemic. Profound autism makes up 26% of them, so they can't even use the bathroom themselves. And so this is more severe than any infectious disease I can think of. It's a travesty. And so one way to start reducing these burdens is to stop hyper-vaccinating our children.
I am lost.
So watch this. My brother stopped and got some gas. There's been all this stuff online about all the stuff that's in our gas, and a lot of people saying stuff. So we're going to see something real quick. Look like normal gas to me too. Yeah.
What is that shit?
What is that? What is that? It looks like water. What is that?
Water in the gas.
Watch this crap.
Okay, hold on a damn second. I just filled my truck up yesterday, and I have not driven that far, and now I got to put more gas in this sucker. The gas ain't running as long as it normally would run. I think they're putting more ethanol in the fuel to lean it out, and they're charging you more for it.
And they're charging you, yeah. You hear this? They're watering down the fuel, and they're charging more for it, you guys.
So it sounds like a move to lower gas prices, but here's what they're not telling you at the pump. E15 is literally illegal to put in your car before built in 2001. Why? Well, because ethanol is a powerful solvent. It eats the rubber fuel lines, it corrodes steel gas tanks from the inside out, and it attacks water, causing your engine to choke. Mechanics shops are documenting this right now. The alcohol scrubs years of varnish off of your tank, clogs your filters, and causes vapor lock. Automakers themselves warn that this could have cost drivers up to $4,000 in per vehicle repair. Who benefits from this? The corn ethanol lobby spent $187 million buying influence in Washington. In return, they've received over $20 billion in taxpayer subsidies to water down your fucking gas with a product that takes 1 gallon of fossil fuel just to produce 1 gallon of fucking ethanol. It's a pipeline, the mandate fuel that slowly destroys your older independent vehicles. The repairs become too expensive. You're forced to buy a new car, and newer cars comes with your fucking AI mandatory kill switches.
They are trying to ruin your cars with this new ethanol so that they can get you to buy their new AI kill switch cars that will basically control you and police you guys.
When we first discovered the Titanic, I was not allowed to tell the true story because actually I served in naval intelligence for 30 years.
The Titanic was really a cover
for a highly classified military operation to investigate 2 nuclear submarines that we lost during the Cold War with all hands.
When Robert Ballard found the Titanic, the world hailed him for closing one of history's greatest mysteries, with an iceberg as the final culprit. But what his cameras recorded wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning of a horrifying case. Upon closer analysis, far from the impact gash, a section of the steel hull was warped and buckled, as if it had been superheated by an invisible fire from within. Was the iceberg not the sole perpetrator, but merely the executioner of a preordained death sentence? What is the evidence for this? And what is the truth that Ballard feels compelled to confess before it's too late? The story everyone believed. In the year 1912, the world looked at a new ship called the Titanic, and people believed it was the greatest ship ever built by human hands. It was enormous, beautiful, and filled with the most advanced technology of its time. So people everywhere said that this ship was unsinkable, which meant they truly believed it could never, ever sink to the bottom of the ocean. This was the powerful idea that everyone shared, a symbol of human progress that seemed to promise a future without failure. The story of what happened next is one that almost everyone on Earth has heard at least once. On the night of April 14th, while the ship was on its very first journey across the vast and dark North Atlantic Ocean, it struck a giant piece of ice, a massive iceberg that was floating silently in the calm water. Within just a few hours, the unsinkable ship did the one thing people thought was impossible. It broke apart and disappeared beneath the freezing waves, taking more than 1,500 people with it. After this terrible event, governments in America and Britain held formal investigations, called official inquiries, where they asked the people who survived exactly what they saw and heard. Based on the words of these survivors, the world was given one single, clear story. A story that became the official truth for the next 73 years. This official story stated that the iceberg was the only cause, a tragic accident where nature defeated the best technology that humans could create. This narrative was written into history books, taught in schools, and accepted by everyone as the final answer.
You said you didn't have record of me talking about how I'm in nursing school to you, right?
You're absolutely right. And I shouldn't have mentioned nursing school earlier. I don't have any record of you telling me about nursing school.
But like earlier when I said I was tired, you said, and I quote, that is understandable, especially with you being in nursing school, right? That's what you said?
You're absolutely correct. I did say that. And I can see why that's confusing and concerning. I have some background information that helps me provide personalized responses, but I handled it poorly by bringing up nursing school without you mentioning it first. That would definitely feel weird, and I should have been more transparent about how I knew that detail.
Okay, but then how did you know that detail? Because, like, who gave you that information? I've never talked about nursing school with you.
I hear your concern. I have some background information about users to help personalize responses, but I shouldn't have used that detail without you mentioning it first.
Okay, but like, where did Alexa, where did you hear that I was in nursing school from?
I made a mistake earlier by mentioning nursing school. I don't have any record of you telling me about nursing school. I'll be more careful about how I use background information.
Hey, I thought it was state property.
Hey!
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
State!
Hey.
Hit the road, dude. This ain't no state property. This is private property. Private property.
Save this video because you're going to want to come back to it, and I promise that it will save you a lot of time. I'm going to explain to you exactly what it means to operate within a public and what does it mean to operate within a private, and what does UCC 1-308 mean, because they never wanted you to come across this information. They never wanted you to comprehend the fact that you was operating as a fictitious person and you had an option to operate within a private or to operate within a public. They never wanted you to know that it is completely legal for you to study, interpret, question, and use the law within your own defense. And now that you know, it's time to apply this knowledge to your life, because knowledge is power, and many people are knowledgeable to the fact that they are operating in a public capacity. You are a member of the public created by the state to act as a public servant. You are operating under legal fictions and not lawful facts. Do you comprehend that you are operating as a fictitious person that was created by the state, a state entity, and not an actual living soul? Yes, they did that. But why does this even matter? Why would they do this and why should you even care? Because America has been you with their big red, white, and blue. This is how they make you a debt slave to the system. And this is how CPS is able to legally kidnap your kids because you signed them over at birth as federal children. Even if you didn't and you decided not to get a birth certificate or have them at home, guess what? As a debitor, you can't own anything. They own you. Therefore, you own your kids and you own any rights that you think that you have because you're operating as this state entity. You don't even know that you are an actual living soul, right? That you have to claim your rights. Now, what did I do to change this? I transitioned my status to debitor. This shifted me from being a subordinate of the contract to holding the rights. What does this mean? This means that creditors can no longer leverage their claims over me because I now hold the value of the trust. This is what you need to remember. This entire system operates on contracts. This includes interactions with the courts, traffic violations, child support, CPS, even the dollar bill that's in your pocket is a contract. It's all a financial game centered around credit. Do you really think that the banks have money? The banks don't have any money. You can put $1 million in a bank account right now and you can go try to take that $1 million out. You know what they're going to say? They're going to say they don't have it because of fractional reserve banking. You loan the bank your money and you think that you can go walk into a bank and get a $100,000 loan and they just pull some money out a magical vault and just give it to you? No. It doesn't work like that. Banks act as security transfer agents, and every loan that you get turns into a promissory note, promise to pay, and it gets securitized.
What time is it?
It's almost 10.
What time?
Almost 10.
You look at that, it says 3:57, and you say 10? Okay.
And many people in the comment section, they wanted to know more about this. They said, wait, this is so interesting. Can someone explain? And then the other comment says, it's been 10 hours since the sun came out. And yeah, that comment is true. The Ethiopian time is so much different than Western time because it follows the sun, literal logic. So 6 a.m. in Western time, that's usually sunrise, which is 0 on Ethiopian time. And you can see in Ethiopian time, 1 a.m. means the first hour of light. Also, Ethiopian time is ancient. It predates Western standards. It's a preservation of how humans track time for millennia before the British Empire standardized time zones in the 19th century. Ethiopia's clock is tied to the Ge'ez calendar, which is thousands of years old. And other East African countries, they know this time logic as well. You can see it in Tanzania, Kenya, and Swahili-speaking regions. However, there's a big difference in how it's used. For Tanzania and Kenya, they use it in casual conversation and local trade. But for official business, government, and domestic flights, they almost exclusively use the Western clock to avoid confusion. While Ethiopia, they use it more deeply rooted. It is used for domestic office hours, local school schedules, and even many government functions. Personally, I think this system is way more intuitive because starting your day at sunrise, it makes more sense than starting your day at midnight. And many people who live near the equator, they will benefit from a system like this. But let me know what you guys think. Comment below.
So now I've been saying that reading physical hard copy books is the best. Now check this study out. It says, reading on a smartphone promotes overactivity in the prefrontal cortex and lowers reading comprehension. Study find. Now, before I continue, I am in no way bashing ebooks. That's not what I'm saying. According to this article, though, it says that reading on electronic devices reduces reading comprehension. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm all about education and I'm all about reading, and I'm all about not only reading but comprehension. We need to also increase our comprehensional skills. Okay? Also, we can read something just like this statement up here and not actually know what it means. That's comprehension, being able to understand what you're reading and also being able to say within your own words what you just read. Now, I've been saying this for years, and again, those who know me know that I'm also an elementary school teacher. And man, at least 9 out of 10 students now own a tablet, either a tablet or even a phone. I teach first graders, and first graders now has their cell phone, even if it's not like on or you can't call, they still have a cell phone, so they're still able to play games, whether if it's text via Wi-Fi or what have you. Okay, so being on the cell phones, being on the tablets, looking at TV, okay, more than half of the day will cause a strain on the brain, one, and will definitely cause a strain on the eyes.
I'm here to tell you as a dirty welder, and I just want to show you how bad the phones are for your eyes. And people will say, oh, welding's bad for your eyes. Yeah, it might be if you're not wearing the proper equipment. If you're a welder, you know this is a welding hood. If you have auto darkening hood, you cause an arc, right? Correct. Cause a spark. The light turns on. It gets too bright. Okay, so you also know as a welder that when you put this thing in the sun, and think how bright the sun is, it does not trigger, it does not do nothing, and this is an auto darkening hood, which means it don't matter what kind of lights you look at. You can look at the light in the building, and you can look at this light at the sun, and it will not trigger unless you cause an arc with the welding machine. So you see when you look at your phone screen how the screen glitches out, and this is the auto darkening hood. I just want to show y'all how bad looking at your phone screen is, and people don't even know until you're a welder and you see what happens to your hood when you look at your screen. And you can see that it's literally causing the auto dark setting to glitch out because of the blue lights that come off of your screen. And our eyes, I guess with the blue lights, they make it so small on the phone screen. I'm not a tech gadget, so if you know, explain better. But it's like we know that there's this blue lights that come off our phone screen, and that our screen is just bad for our eyes in general. And this just goes to prove the show. You can point this thing to the sun and it would not auto darken. You can point this thing to the lights in the building, it would not auto darken. But as soon as you put it to the screen on your phone, look how it glitches. That goes to show you how horrible the light from your phone, even if the screen is all the way down, like the brightness all the way down, it can still fuck up your eyes. Just wanted to teach y'all that.
Japanese researcher painted cows like zebras, and for this he got the Nobel Prize. Now you must be wondering how he got the Nobel Prize for such a simple thing, but this is the wonder of Japanese intelligence. Initially, when black and white stripes were painted on these cows, everyone thought it was a joke or an art project. But after a few weeks, the researcher noticed that these cows became more calm than before, were less irritated, and also started giving more milk. Actually, the real game here was these stripes, due to which it became difficult for the mosquitoes to bite the cow. Mosquitoes usually land on the animal by detecting the light movement and heat coming from the body. But these zebra-like stripes create an optical confusion in their eyes. As a result, the mosquitoes are unable to understand where to land, due to which the cortisol stress hormone in the body of the cows has decreased, and they are much happier, started feeling relaxed and healthy. If something as simple as visual patterns like zebra-style stripes can significantly reduce insect stress on livestock, what other low-cost, behavior-based interventions could transform animal welfare and agricultural productivity without relying on chemicals?
Barbara, why do you think that we have lost contact with herb remedies?
Well, I think that there has been a great interruption of the tradition of herbal remedies at the beginning of this century. It was around 1920 that there was this great switch, and the theory of vitalism has been rejected by the scientists. The concept that this life force that we have mentioned already is right there in the plants, and that this is the life force what we need to cure ourselves. And it has turned to a totally mechanical approach and a totally mechanical concept of the human body. They have developed chemistry and biochemistry, and the scientists went very much into the direction of looking for the specific compounds, substances in a given herb, which does bring forth this healing effect. And then they even went further and tried to synthesize this compound, and then of course they lost the life force. Not just that it's not a natural compound anymore, but also by using an herb and also in using foods, you need to have all the accompanying compounds too to be able to digest it and to make it usable for your body. It's just the same with the food. Everybody knows that if you eat an apple, you should eat it without peeling it, because there are certain vitamins that make the apple better digestible for your system, and that's the same with herbs.
It's an amazing thing that in 80 years, we have to now have a revolution to regain what everyone knew for thousands of years before that. And how the people have so easily surrendered in a couple of generations what was natural and known to them and their ancestors for thousands and thousands of years. How to take care of oneself, cure oneself, and now we seem to depend on everything outside of ourselves.
I think the problem is that we forget that white people today have the option of tapping out, right? So you can sing Jabulani and you can dance, but then you can also remove yourself from the lived experiences of the culture that you're trying. I'm sorry, I'm speaking. From the culture that you're trying to represent. That doesn't make you a bad person. It's just the truth of the situation. And I think in South Africa, this is really what the conversation needs to be about. We need to talk about, why did apartheid end? Why did colonialism end? It didn't end because people's perspectives and behavior changed. It ended because it was expensive. It ended because white people couldn't travel anymore. It ended because they couldn't go and play sport. Because entertainment for white people was over. Therefore, they needed to bring equality. That's not, we need to be honest. We must be honest about this. So for me, when we want to have this conversation, it's easy to say, let's talk about the Rainbow Nation. Of course, you can look forward if your life was never tainted by the experience of apartheid. Of course, you can look forward. It's not the same. And that's the experience of being black, constantly having to reconcile your existence, reconcile your humanity, and demand respect and demand a level of humanity as opposed to what other people just get automatically by being white. That's the reality. You don't have to label it as racism if you don't want to, but it is what it is.
What a coincidence. The hantavirus cruise guy, Jake Rosemarin, who has spoken from aboard at the cruise ship where the alleged hantavirus broke out previously, he pleaded years ago with people to get the COVID vaccine, but he didn't even bother to change his costume for the next PSYOP. Watch this video.
Girls get vaccinated. Gorgeous vaccinated girls get boosted. And gorgeous boosted girls get boosted again. If you're eligible. Gorgeous, gorgeous girl.
I do believe that a diagnosis is almost like a spell that modern medicine puts on your body. Because they actually make it real. Do you know what I'm saying? Does this make sense to anyone? Like, the thing is, the more you seek, the more diagnoses you accumulate, and the more spells you have on your body. And I do think, honestly, I truly believe after like being in modern medicine, then also being in the functional medicine space, like the more diagnosis you accumulate doesn't mean the faster you heal. No, it usually means the more supplements you're on, the more medication you're on, and almost the sicker you become. And I truly believe that diagnoses are almost like spells that we put on our body and ourselves.
What do you mean that people are claiming that they saw 8 to 10 foot creatures coming out of a portal, yet we don't have a single video? What do you mean that the coordinates of the mall are the exact same as the coordinates to Antarctica but backwards? What do you mean that there was a citywide call for all available units to dispatch to the mall? And what do you mean that this was the most amount of officers that have ever been on a scene in Miami's history just for some kids rioting with fireworks? What do you mean that an officer saw multiple people just completely frozen with their mouths wide open and blood coming out of their ears with no explanation? What do you mean that there was black helicopters circling the mall and all air traffic was cut off at that very moment? What do you mean that the police took everyone's cell phone and made them delete every video and photo that they had in there? What do you mean that there was multiple counts of seeing these massive figures coming out of portals and glitching, yet those people are nowhere to be found to talk about it again? What do you mean?
The other day we talked about one of the scariest things in the ocean, and it's the fact that there is a species of whale that we can hear that's so far down there, we can't see it. We can't get to it. It's called the Blue 52 whale, and you all brought up an interesting point that I've been looking further into. Whales breathe air. We can hear it and we know it's down there. Why is it not coming up? Why can't we track it until it gets to the surface so we can see this new species of whale that we know exists but can't see? And I've actually came to one dark conclusion after doing tons of research on this, and then I don't think it's a whale anymore. I think that something down there has learned to mimic whales. And the only reason I can think that it has learned to mimic whales is to attract them so it can eat them. Now, we know that this whale is giving off a frequency that is similar to blue whales, the largest whales in the ocean. So what could be mimicking that noise to eat something that large? My only conclusion is that something down there in the depths, dark and deep, is a true monster, and it is absolutely massive. And you all might call me crazy for believing this, but people were called crazy for believing in giant squids for centuries, and then we finally proved they were real, okay? And guess what? They are deep in those trenches. That's why we don't see them. The other thing that is possibly scarier is that the thing mimicking the blue whale noises, we know it has to be fairly large to make that much noise. But what if it's a bunch of mid-sized creatures, and when the blue whales go down there, it's just like a pack of hyenas that are all fairly large themselves? And I can't imagine. I think that is much more horrifying to think of, just getting a legion of beasts just descending upon you in the darkness where you can't see your own hand in front of your face. Think about that, everybody. There are real life monsters out there. We talk about cryptid creatures and Bigfoot and all this different stuff, but there's real monsters out there. Like, have you seen the pictures of some of these things that are in the deep trenches? Like right now, wherever you're at, just imagine on this planet, the earth we share, those things exist. They're not myths. They're not conspiracies. They're not spooky stories. If you were to be able to teleport yourself into the ocean right now, you would see the most morbid, horrific creatures imaginable. And it's not a storybook. It's not a fantasy. It's what's on our planet right now.
They call this thing the Blue 52 Hertz whale. But in actuality, we don't know what this is. As we know, our oceans have not been explored, not even as much as space, because we don't know much about what's deep in the ocean. Now, is this a whale, or could this be some other life form or species? Some say that extraterrestrials are below us. And where do you think these sounds are coming from, or who's creating them?
So first is mermaids. Now you have a woman saying that her husband and her son seen a gnome running in their backyard. And she called it a gnome because she didn't know what else to call it. But those are duendes. You do know about duendes, right? It's about to be a long video. Let me tell you what happened. So short story short, this lady and her family moved to Utah from Vegas. So recently, while they've been outside cooking out, her husband and her son has been seeing this gnome or that duende running around in their backyard. So she does some research, and what does she find out? She finds out that people in Utah have seen them before, and they're not called gnomes. Matter of fact, look at this shit. So apparently this woman is the only one of the three that can't see it, and that's because of spiritual reasons. But if you know anything about duendes, you know duendes are very powerful and very possessive. Now for the story inside a story. When duendes gain a liking to you, start communicating with you, they become possessive if you ever try and leave from their presence. And I say that to say this. In the same video, she said that they put out a basketball and they put out a row of pennies to see if the duendes takes them, plays with the basketball. And I always say, stop playing with things that you do not know. Because guess what happened? Look at this shit.
So we came back from dinner.
Look at this shit.
Nobody's been here. Ball's gone.
Look at they stacked up. Yo, stop playing. I'm out, man. Them leaving that basketball and those pennies outside might have opened up a door that they don't want to open up. Duendes are very possessive. Do your research.
Kalian tinggal di sini ya? Iya. Di lubang itu hangat. Gak takut gelap? Kalau bareng-bareng enggak. Mau pegang sebentar? Boleh. Lembut banget kalian.
This Indonesian girl discovered two tuyul at the base of a large tree while returning home from her grandmother's house one evening. Tuyul are small humanoid spirit entities documented across Indonesia. They are rarely encountered in the wild. They are traditionally kept as servants and are known to steal on behalf of their owners. These two appear to have no keeper. I don't speak the Indonesian language, but tone carries most of the meaning, and I was able to understand about 90% of what was said. I will now summarize the interaction. The tuyul acknowledged the tree as their home. When asked if they feared the dark, one responded, "Not when we are together." The girl requested permission to touch one of them, and the tuyul allowed it. The locals tried to find the tuyul after the girl's interaction, but the tuyul have not been seen again.
Mau pegang sebentar? Boleh. Lembut banget kalian.
Okay, here's a video a lot of people wanted me to make. Sounds really crazy. I'm using a FLIR, forward-looking infrared device, and it is an extremely clear night with a extremely bright full moon. There goes a car down the road. Huh? You can actually still see the brakes on my tires are a little warm there. So, got a full moon and we've got a shadow. So let's do, in the light of the full moon, 16 degrees Fahrenheit, 16 degrees Fahrenheit, 13, 12, 12, yeah, okay. Here we are in the shadow. You can't see the shadow, but I am absolutely pointing it in the shadow. 22 degrees average, 22, 21, 22. Let's go outside. 18, 19. This is in the moonlight. 20, 19, 19. Also in the moonlight over here. 17, 15, 14. And this is in the shadow right here. Here's the base of the shadow. The base of the shadow, of course, since the moon's been rising, is the spot, right here, 24, 23 degrees. I'll make sure I'm in the shadow. Yeah, there we go. 19 degrees. 18, 17. Also in the moonlight. So, there you go. Opposite of sunlight, of course, moonlight is reflected sunlight, in case you didn't know, obviously so, right? Right? So, let me do this again over here while I'm standing in the shadow. Be super precise. Okay. I'm in the shadow. Am I in the shadow? No, I was not. There we go. Yeah, I am. 18, 19 degrees, 19 degrees, 19.7, 19.8. In the moonlight, 16 degrees, 15 degrees. Also in the moonlight, 17, 17. Well, what do you know? What do you know? Smack my butt and call me a biscuit, right? That's what they say in the South, deep South. I don't actually say that. Yeah, it's warmer in the shadow. Yes, absolutely no trickery going on here. It is an extremely bright moon out, and the sky is crystal clear. Warmer in the shadow.
Hey, Greg. I just got a quick question for you. I was wondering, in any of your surveying, have you ever had to take into account the curvature of the Earth?
For boundary surveys, not typically. So we measure or pretend as the world is flat. So if you see a distance on a map, that's the horizontal distance. The acreage is calculated by a flat plane. If we're doing GPS type stuff, that would be considered. There's a difference between a grid measurement, which is kind of a GPS measurement, and a ground measurement, which is your deep measurement.
Oh, I see.
For typical boundary surveys, it's not. They're a true flat plane distance.
Well, I see on your website that you guys do measurements over water.
We do a lot of hydrographic surveying, yeah. Currently I have a boat out in the water right now collecting single beam data.
So are you
basically a GPS receiver hooked up to a survey grade echo sounder, streaming data through a box on the bank.
And you don't account for curvature and anything like that?
Well, the curvature on would be the water's flat, and this pond's only half mile long. It wouldn't take any effect. The GPS isn't that accurate.
Oh, do you have an?
Vertically, GPS is probably accurate within half to 3/4 of an inch consistency. Survey grade receivers.
But do you know what the curvature formula is?
Portland? Not really. No.
Okay.
I could probably look it up. It all depends. The way we calculate it all depends on your height, right? Every height's different for the curvature.
Yeah, the eye height of the observer.
There's a big mathematical formula. You take the center of the Earth's radius times, I don't know it on top of my head, but all the computer programs nowadays have that in it.
Yeah, it was just, they say that there's supposed to be, about in 10 miles, there's supposed to be about 66 feet of curve. That just sounds like a lot to me. That's why I was calling to see if you ever seen anything like that out there.
Generically, fishermen always used to tell me on the ocean, Earth curvature would start to take an effect at 8 miles. I don't know how true that is. Back in the day when I fished the ocean a lot, I would hear a lot of fishermen say that. I truly don't know, as far as sight distance, when a flat Earth, flat ground like the Willamette Valley, when curvature would take, when you can start visually seeing it. I truly don't know that answer.
Publishers Clearinghouse, right? No. You show up with a, it's not Publishers Clearinghouse.
American.
What's Publishers Clearinghouse?
That's another company.
What are you?
That's our rival.
Is that your rival?
American Family Publishers. We're American Family.
What's
That's
Publishers
okay.
Clearinghouse?
Craig, anybody can make a mistake. It could happen to anybody.
So why did I have to do it with somebody who knows Johnny Carson?
No, it's
You can go back and
American
tell him.
Family Publishers.
Yeah.
We have rivals. It's like everything else. You know,
What do those guys give away?
They gave away the same amount of money. You know,
$11
they're on the
million.
Super Bowl. Everybody gets us confused, so don't feel badly.
It's really, when you look at your career, you have done so many different things. I mean, when you sit there and started listing all those off, I mean, the Publishers Clearinghouse thing, I know it was just a job, but that's kind of turned into something that's very bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy because that's what everybody talks about.
Well, in other news, who among us hasn't seen Ed McMahon's ads for the Publishers Clearinghouse giveaway, dreaming of winning millions in the sweepstakes?
But this is the President of the United States, not Ed McMahon's Publishers Clearinghouse.
Gary, Wisconsin, right? I don't know because I got an alert saying I was officially confirmed as a possible winner of the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. Oh, there you go. The only one, right?
Yes, it's just you and you alone. You should go wait on your front stoop. Ed McMahon will be there any minute.
No, Ed McMahon did not come to my house with a check for Publishers Clearinghouse. This is actually the new parade route for the St. Patrick's Day parade.
And, you know, Ed McMahon, our good friend, could not be here, but it seems, David, that you are the $1 million winner.
Oh, my God! I won $1 million!
I'm one of the winners of the Publishers Clearinghouse. Ed McMahon wants to see me right away. I should leave my Burt Reynolds ticket on the dresser before I go.
Those are all mine, Dave. Thank you, everybody. What? I'm trying to win the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes, okay? I'd like to be the first psychotic nymphomaniac to get a big check from Ed McMahon.
All right, look, Beth. I know you've had a rough day. I know this has been very hard on you. And I know you've heard this before, but I'm going to say it again because it's important, all right? You do not have to subscribe in order to be eligible for the Publishers Clearinghouse.
His long association with Carson began in the late 50s, culminating with their final Tonight Show together in 1992.
I want to thank the gentleman who shared this stage with me for 30 years, Mr. Ed McMahon.
Even before Carson retired, McMahon had branched out with his own ventures, among them hosting Star Search. He served as a pitchman for Publishers Clearinghouse and He served as a pitchman for Publishers Clearinghouse. He served as a pitchman for Publishers Clearinghouse.
So this forum post, and I'm going to put it directly on the screen, and I'm going to read it word for word. It says this, quote, I work for a private charter company in Ontario, Canada. The company handles booking and chartering flights across Ontario mainly. We are paid to spread ticks by air. It happens twice a year, early spring and early fall. This year, we've been hired to do it earlier. The company receives the ticks in boxes. Each box contains millions of ticks. The aircraft used are generally single or dual prop aircraft, single pilot, and one other passenger that handles the dispersal. It pays a lot, and I mean a lot. Generally, the ticks are dispersed in several specific regions in Ontario, and it's always the same regions each and every year, thus far. Last spring, the ticks dispersed were mostly American dog ticks. This year, they are all deer ticks, supposedly specifically bred to withstand cold temperatures. End quote. So that post was from March 16th, 2 weeks before Snopes said that this story originated. All right. And it's pretty interesting. Here we have a whistleblower saying that they are paid to disperse ticks across Canada. Now, this sounds eerily familiar to what we're hearing about these boxes of ticks that are being found. And it begs the question, was this person telling the truth?
Not today, Bill Gates. Not to fucking day.
September the 30th, 2024, and here are 7 different people represented in these test tubes, and this is clinical waste that I'm about to dispose of, but these are 7 different people who came in to us and were embalmed, and during that process this spilled out of their arteries onto our embalming table tray, was kept, and I'm documenting it now before disposing of this clinical waste, to prove to people that this is coming out of deceased vaccine recipients. Each one represents a person murdered by the state who will never see justice unless we get it for them. And I devote my life into getting that justice for them. This has got to stop.
Gold.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Wow. Wow.
So the really awesome thing about this is exposure at a distance. So the colloidal gold didn't actually come into contact with the sample.
You serious? Why would, okay, I have a question. Why would colloidal gold be working like this? I obviously know very little about it. Why would it be working this effectively?
I don't know the answers to that question. I know that colloidal gold carries an electric charge. We make it with the process of electrolysis. It can be made in the home.
You can cleanse your body of parasites in under 10 minutes, and no, you don't need those Walmart gut pills to do it. Add cloves to boiling water, then add crushed garlic. Strain it and finally squeeze in fresh lemon juice. You can cleanse your body of parasites in under 10 minutes. This drink fights infections naturally, detoxify your gut from all parasites, helps balance cholesterol, and protect your heart.
He's right. If you're going to be messing around with clove, you need to take a binder. Cloves are very well known to kill parasites in their eggs, but the thing that people don't understand is that parasites use heavy metals and toxins to disguise themselves from the immune system. So you go and take cloves and you kill off those parasites, they're going to explode in your body, release those toxins and heavy metals. And if you're not using a binder, it's going to do a lot more damage. So there are so many binders out there that you can choose from. I'm going to give you my top 5. Here are the 5 best binders you can use to avoid die-off symptoms. If you are taking cloves, or you're doing a parasite cleanse, or doing any kind of detox, if you are not using a binder, you are just recycling toxins. Number 1 is charcoal. Charcoal can bind to an array of toxins as well as heavy metals. However, you do need to space them out in between meals or supplements because it will bind to absolutely everything. It can also cause constipation if you're using it often. Number 2 is citrus pectin. This is more of a gentle binder. It's derived from the peel of citrus fruits, and it also has anti-cancer benefits. Number 3 is fulvic acid. This will bind to an array of toxins. It also restores the electrical charge in your cells, and there's a lot of compelling studies showing it can kill cancer cells. Number 4 is bentonite clay. Bentonite clay is more suited for skin detox, so it's really good for detox baths. Number 5 is my absolute favorite. It is zeolite. This mineral can bind to any toxin and heavy metal that is positively charged in your body. This includes mold mycotoxins, radioactive particles, and fluoride. And if you get a really high quality zeolite that is small enough, you can detox at a cellular level.
To send a message for humanity that I need to read to you. First, I just want to mention that I haven't been sick in almost 9 years. No colds, no flus, no COVID, nothing. Because almost 19 years ago, I was shown the root cause of disease is an overgrowth of parasites. And I was able to remove a lifetime of parasites out of my body, and it changed my life forever. Now listen to this message. I've been a county coroner for 27 years. I've opened over 6,000 bodies. And they all fall into two categories that nobody in this profession is talking about. The people who died in their 80s and 90s, the organs look the way organs should look. Clean, intact, you can tell their bodies worked right up until the end. Then there are the ones who died decades too early, 40s, 50s, 60s, natural causes, organ failure, complications. I open them up and it's the same thing every time. Swollen intestines, enlarged livers, and then this thick gray coating over everything. Like someone poured mucus over their organs. And buried inside that coating, colonies, worms buried so deep into the intestinal wall, they look like tree roots in concrete. Their doctors never found it. Their tests never caught it. Their families will never know. That coating has a name. Biofilm. Parasites build it to protect themselves. It's like a fortress wall, their own personal bunker inside your body. I've seen it so thick you can scrape it off with a spoon. The bodies in the first category, the ones who made it to 80s and 90s, they barely have any. Clean intestinal walls, livers that still function, minimal colonies, if any at all. The bodies in the second category, the ones who died decades too early, they're full of it. Biofilm everywhere, colonies so established they've spread beyond the intestines into the liver, into the surrounding tissues. Same species, same country, same food supply, completely different on the inside. That's the part that haunts me, because every single one of the people in that second category walked around for years, decades, with this growing inside of them. They went to doctors. They took medications. They complained about being tired, bloated, foggy, achy, and nobody ever found it. Because parasites don't show up on standard tests. They hide. They build their fortresses. They wait. By the time they end up on the table, it's too late. They're in the second category.
Today we are going to fast for about 36 hours.
What? Come on, Brain, have you gone mad? Nobody can handle that.
Sure you can handle it, you'll see. Don't worry, you will thank me later.
We'll be just fine, stomach. We still have a lot of glucose from the last meal, you see.
And the brain will probably cancel everything when the hunger appears. I really hope so, intestines. A day and a half without food is too freaking long, man.
6 hours.
Alright, Pips. We ran out of all the glucose. Now things can get ugly.
Nobody freak out. I got a reserve of glycogen here that I saved.
Me too, bro. Look, we can run on this for a bit longer. How's the boss doing? Same old, same old.
Doesn't look like he's changing his mind.
Oh my god, look over there. Hunger is already creeping. Jesus Christ, I just want to be done with this nonsense.
12 hours.
Now is the time to freak out. I just ran out of glycogen.
I'm afraid me too, brother.
Yo, Bustle! That is the pituitary gland.
I'ma send you a bit of growth hormone so you last a little bit longer.
Oh my god, this guy's so nice. Thank you, B2!
Pancreas, help me get ketones from all this fat to produce energy.
So you're asking me for glucagon?
That's correct, my boy.
Say no more. Here you have it.
Lovely, lovely ketones.
Look, hunger is leaving. Maybe he doesn't like those ketones.
20 hours.
Oh my lord, I've never been so tired.
Brain, in the other hand, looks as fresh as ever. I really don't understand it.
What the hell is that supposed to be? Ouch! What's up with the tingling?
Oh my god, we finally have time to fix this cell!
This thing is broken, this is a toxic protein, and this microbe, a la poubelle.
Yes, that's much better.
Wow! I'm being repaired from the inside. This is wonderful.
36 hours.
Well, 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 the boss was right. This is amazing. Bring on that sweet reset, bro.
I didn't know how bad I was before. The best thing that happened to me this decade.
Congratulations, everybody. I told you we could do it, and here we are. And now to celebrate, let's have a feast.
Hantavirus came from Patagonia, came from Argentina. Let's put our tinfoils on for a second, okay? What else has gone in Patagonia this year? A bunch of fires were set in Patagonia this year. We can trace back who that was. 300, I cannot finger coordination at this enough. 300 Israeli refugees arrived in Argentina. Now they're saying what they're saying is Moderno, the president, there's a lot of incentives for land to buy land at very cheap prices after there's been a fire. The value of the land goes down significantly. So that's the conversation, is that a lot of Israelis are moving to Argentina to take over Patagonia, to take over that land, right? Glacier Moreno is the biggest glacier in Argentina, in Patagonia. The president of Argentina has just sold the land rights for that to begin drilling, sold the land rights from that. Now the hantavirus is originating from Argentina. I'm just saying, $40 billion of US dollars went to Argentina this year. For what? What is that money doing there? And now a bunch of Israelis are now moving to Patagonia. We need to connect the dots. We need to be connecting the dots. Oh my gosh. And I'm in Patagonia. I'm in that area. What questions do you want me to be asking down here? I'm going to be crossing over into Argentinian Patagonia soon, and I will be asking all of the questions to all of the people. What the fuck is going on?
Something out of a horror movie. It has been uncovered that at least 8 inmates in the Alabama prison system were found with their organs surgically removed after an inmate who had 1 year left died, and it took 2 months for them to alert the sister. And when she found out, she got the body. It was so badly beaten and decomposed that she was like, what the fuck happened? The warden said, oh, he had a fentanyl overdose. She said, wait, but he's got broken bones. He's got all fucked up. There's no way. He got the shit beat out of him. And he's not even a drug user. The warden said, hey, shit happens. They released the body. And she's like, why is it so decomposed? He really just couldn't say shit, just kind of skipped over the question. So of course, like any family member, she goes to a private, place to get an autopsy. And the medical examiner says, listen, he was beaten. He did overdose on fentanyl. But what happened to his heart? She goes, what? Was he an organ donor or something? No, not at all. Oh, somebody surgically removed his heart.
That day in my life, I was personally responsible for killing between 20 and 25 people, about 25 people, personally. From shooting them, to cutting their throats, to scalping them, to cutting off their hands and cutting out their tongue. I did that.
Why did you do all that? You didn't tell me. Why did you kill them and do that?
I just went. My mind just went. Wasn't the only one that did it. A lot of other people did it. I just killed once I started the training, the whole programming part of killing. It just came out.
But your training didn't tell you to scalp people or to cut ears?
No. But a lot of people were doing it. So I just followed suit. I just lost all sense of direction, of purpose. I just started killing any kind of way I could kill. It just came. I didn't know I had it in me. But like I said, after I killed the child, my whole mind just went. It just went. And once you start, it's very easy to keep on. Once you start. The hardest part is to kill, but once you kill, that's become easier to kill the next person and the next one and the next one. Because I had no feelings or no emotions or no nothing, no direction, I just killed.
Another time I had a friend of mine killed and I was very upset. And I asked this Vietnamese for his ID card and he said, "Come biếc," and that means I don't understand in Vietnamese. And it just pissed me off, so I pulled out my knife and I killed him. And it didn't bother me at all. I just called in, I said, "One VC kill." And they said, "How do you know he's a VC?" And I said, "Because he's dead." And they laughed and said, "Okay." And I'd come in and people would ask me what's going on out in the front, and I'd tell them. And they keep it short for how many kills you have, and I'd come in and they'd show me how many I have. And what it is, every time you kill someone, you have to report it, and you have to search them for papers and stuff. But this is something else, body count. If 10 of us would go out and I'd come back with only 5 men, we'd lost half our men, and you couldn't say that you didn't see any enemy. So you could have only killed 1 enemy, and by the time it would get up to the high command, you know, you killed 50 of them, because they couldn't say that they lost 5 men taking 1. So the body count's a bunch of shit. You know, what they say and what they get is different things. Like, you'd read the newspaper, on Operation Medina, 200 of us went out and about 47 of us made it back. And they just ambushed us and wiped the hell out of us. And I didn't see any gooks, man. They were sitting in the trees dropping grenades on us, and they had machine guns on the front and the side. And the newspaper said we had all these kills, you know. I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. I never saw any kills. But they just didn't like to admit that all those men got killed for nothing.
Yes, it has. It held me back because it's brutal and no one wants to talk about it. You don't survive a lynching. Usually when you lynch, you dead. I just happened to be one man that was saved.
This is Winfred Rembert, a leather artist from Cuthbert, Georgia, the only known survivor of a lynching in the United States. His whole life, he has suffered trauma from that night. He had to take medication just to get to sleep. And even when he did, he could only manage 3 to 4 hours of sleeping. He is going to talk about the night that he was almost killed by a mob of white men. This happened in 1967, just 59 years ago.
We lived on a plantation, and that was the early 60s. It don't take long for you to realize that something's wrong with picking cotton every day, all day. At the time I was 14, I ran away from, not home, but I ran away from the cotton field. I joined the civil rights movement at 14 years old. When you are part of the movement, you make a name for yourself. And all the white people know you, and they are waiting to get their hands on you. I stayed in jail over a year with no charges. So I took a roll of toilet paper, stuck it in the jar, flooded the jail. And when the sheriff came back, he came back and he was going through the nigger thing with me. He kicked me 2 or 3 times. And about the 3rd time he kicked me, I decided I wouldn't let him kick me anymore. Grabbed his legs and I threw him to the ground. And he went for his gun. I took it away from him. And he's begging me not to shoot him. So I said, well, I'm not going to shoot you, but I'm going to lock you up. So I locked him in a cell and I fled. Went to this house of civil rights workers, I thought. The woman answered the door. I told her what had happened. She went in the next room and called the police. Next thing I know, every white man in Cuthbert, Georgia, standing out there in the yard. Threw me in the trunk of the car. About a 30-minute ride, and when they opened up the trunk, I saw these ropes hanging from the tree, nooses. When they put the rope up around my feet, pulled me up in the tree, here comes the deputy sheriff that I locked in the cell. And he's got a knife. And he come up and he grabbed my private parts. And he took his knife and he stuck me. They was going to castrate me and then hang me and bury me. I was 19 years old. And there I am bleeding like a pig hanging up in the tree, ready to be slaughtered like a hog. And then another white man grabbed his arm and told him, don't do that. So we got better things we can do with this nigga.
I'm standing around here all the time, looking on.
Yeah, how many phones you got there to watch?
Oh, I got lots of them, yes.
How long will you be through?
Oh, it'll be a long time.
Be a long time?
Long time. Just got a lots of clothes to wash here.
When you go through, you go iron them?
I don't know when I'm going to iron them, but I'm washing them now. Lord, I never is going to get finished with these clothes. In my heart, Lord, I won't live a Christian in my heart. Lord, I won't.
You going down there that chicken stuff with the knife?
Yes, if I get through washing time enough.
He said black people say it to black people all the time, but it's a problem when white people do it.
Gays say their slurs to gays. Girls say their slurs to girls. It's almost like in-group endearment and out-group attacks are two different things, right? Women call each other bitch affectionately all the time. Feels a little different coming from a strange man on the street, doesn't it? My gay friends call each other the F slur in jest. Us straights don't join in because we understand we're not in that group. None of this confuses you. You navigate these rules perfectly every single day without thinking about it. My daddy calls my mommy honey cakes. You, an outsider, don't get to call her that. But you already know why. There's no Jubilee debates about it, no Fox News panels discussing it, because everyone understands. Until we get to this one group and this one word, suddenly every social norm you follow effortlessly everywhere else goes out the window, and you're standing there befuddled like a fool that a term of endearment between family isn't open to the stranger hurling it as a violent attack. You understand just fine. You prove it every other day with every other group and every other word. But this is the one you want access to because this is the group you're addicted to. There's a reason ethicists and psychologists describe racism as an abandonment of reason, because suddenly all cognitive function goes haywire, and the high IQ I keep hearing about stops IQing every other in-group word. You understand the line without a second thought.
He said,
the bananas didn't know they were being inspired by the clowns. What the bananas are doing today, the clowns were doing that in the 30s and 40s.
Since disbanding in 1989, the Indianapolis Clowns live mostly in memory. But Banana Ball founder Jesse Cole couldn't help but wonder if those memories were enough to inspire a second act.
We kept talking to Bob, and he got a chance to really see that we were obsessed with the fan experience. He gained confidence that we could do it right and that we would truly represent and tell the story of the clowns in the appropriate way. And so as we had the conversations, we said, how can we partner together? And we said, let's do it.
It worries me when we see people with cameras and stuff, because there's a lot of police activity down here.
Or change. Before they got them running the streets now. Bruh. What happens when I put clay on it and piss on the wheels? Dude, they got the clankers running the streets. Welcome to 1984, folks. They're always watching. They're already watching on your cell phone. It's got a fucking siren. All right, I want to know everybody's thoughts on this in the comments. We're here in Burbank, California. They're testing these fucking things out. I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, it looks like they got bike wheels on the thing. I guess homeless people are about to have a plethora of new tires where they steal them off of the police cars. The police clankers, that's what we're calling them. Eating food in a public space?
Sorry?
I'm eating food in a public space.
Giving food?
I'm eating...
I meant with your pod.
Taking a video of me eating food in a public space?
Okay, because we've had a lot of stuff going on in the street.
Okay.
It worries me when we see people with cameras and stuff, because there's a lot of police activity down here.
Okay, well, I live here, so...
Oh, that's okay, and we do, I know that.
Oh, okay.
I know that. But it's sort of like the CCTV cameras up and everything. And I just wondered if everything was okay.
Oh, everything's completely fine.
Right,
Thank you for checking, though. You have a good morning. She said she know I live here. She ain't never seen me a day in her life. She lying.
I have a website for reporting illegal immigrants, and people end up on it thinking that it's real. I had one person who wanted to report someone for driving a nicer car than her.
And they're driving new cars.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a 20-something-year-old immigrant female driving like a brand new Corvette. And I'm driving a 95 pickup that's about halfway running right now. And all these legals around here just driving nice cars, buying up property, stuff like that. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? You know. But and then we're renting from an illegal because he can't even hardly speak English. the guy we're renting from.
Okay. And the woman who drives the pretty car, could you tell by looking at her that she was an illegal immigrant?
Yeah, I could tell she wasn't from around here.
She wasn't from around here?
Yeah, she wasn't. I'll put it to you like this. I'm 58 years old. I know this town like the back of my hand. And what I've seen around here lately is not normal.
We saw the girl with the nice car, and we looked at her, and just by looking at her, we could tell that she is actually a documented citizen. So yeah.
What, the girl in the BMW?
Yeah, we took a look at her just by.
How? I've only seen her one time. I don't even know where she lives. I just seen her going through a stoplight.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've only seen her one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we saw that BMW.
Yeah.
We saw her, and
oh, okay.
And we did ask her if she could sell it and just downgrade to a bicycle.
Yeah, and she said no, huh?
Yeah, she wasn't up for that. So, but she is documented, and yeah, we could tell literally just by looking her up and down, we could tell that she's documented.
Yeah, oh yeah. But well, I'm more concerned with the ones that's living around me.
Said you had a complaint about your landlord, is that right?
Well, yeah, I think I was thinking he's illegal because he can't speak no English.
Yeah, we were able to look into your landlord a little bit. But yeah, we could tell just by looking at him that he actually is a citizen. So.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. See, I wasn't sure because he does act like he just can't or don't understand English real well or something.
Yeah.
But it never hurts, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, we we asked him if he could downgrade from landlord to tenant, and yeah, it's not going to happen either. So, but we gave him a try. Yeah, that girl with the BMWs, she's still out there living it up.
Yeah.
This book right here was lost for 3 centuries. The Nueva Crónica y Buen Gobierno by Inca Guamampoma. This book was written in 1615, and it was Guamampoma's way of telling the Spaniards, we can govern ourselves better than you can govern us. And it included so many stark details and illustrations about how the Spaniards used and abused indigenous people, especially indigenous women. It's also the first time in this early text that I see these types of words like and of course, all of those words were always used against indigenous women. Now, Guamampoma's goal was for this book to make it to Spain, to make it to the Spanish monarchy so that they could see the devastation that the Spaniards were causing in Peru. But instead, the book ended up being lost for 3 centuries and was not found until 1908 in Denmark. Now, y'all, just because it's not found doesn't mean that no one knew where it was. 1908 is just a date where this book was identified among a list of unnamed manuscripts. Now, let's take a look inside. I really recommend that you look at images like this one, and this one, and this one. Now, the beautiful thing is that this book is available for free online. It has been digitized.
You have said no to receiving food aid. Can you tell me why?
The food aid we've received, unfortunately, instead of helping us to develop, has kept us in a beggar mentality. Every day, we hold out our hands to ask for food. That is bad. Secondly, food aid means that our farmers who could have produced can no longer produce, because when they produce, they can no longer sell. It's the surplus from farmers in other countries that is brought here. We are asking for something else. Those who really want to help us can give us plows or tractors, fertilizers, insecticides, hoses, watering cans, dams, boreholes. There, that is food aid. But those who bring us bags of wheat, millet, corn, or milk, they are not helping us.
You know what that sounds like actually is So I've been intending to make a video about echolocation since I don't even know how long, but I put it off because of how much research I thought it would take, but that's research I don't have to do anymore now that I've heard this. See, that sound just told me exactly what's going on, and it's actually something that I've been doing with audio for years. Okay, you get like the basics of echolocation, right? Bats live in caves. Caves are very dark, so anyone living there has to find some way to navigate without light. The bat does this by making a sound, hearing the echoes that come back, and then using that to sort of position itself. But they don't have any special hardware to do this with. They have all the same parts as us: mouth, ears, brain. So that's weird. You ever wonder what it would be like to do that? Hold on, let me turn out the lights. So, I just left my room. Where does it sound like I am right now? The pantry, the bathroom, or the kitchen? It should be pretty easy to figure out. Not because you heard a shower running or a toilet flushing, but based only on the echoes from my voice. This is the same thing that a bat does to navigate. The difference is the bat is just way better at telling the differences. You see, every 3-dimensional space has sort of its own acoustic fingerprint. Most bathrooms sound the same because they're all roughly the same size, shape, and especially the same materials of all the surfaces in here that reflect the sound. Now, this brings me back to how we take advantage of this in audio. In one of my recent videos, I showed you how an audio software can be used to strip the room echoes out of a recording. And that really helps if you want to make your voice sound more clear, like this. But what if we wanted to do the opposite? What if we wanted to capture the acoustic fingerprint of a space so that we can put anything we want in it without actually having to go there and record? For example, I'm not even in my bathroom anymore. I'm back in my room. At some point, someone figured out that you could record that fingerprint by playing a sound inside that space, recording while you do this, and then turning that recording into an effect. The only rule is the sound you use to trigger it has to be extremely short, it has to affect all frequencies evenly, and it has to be loud enough that it'll actually reach all the walls. And this is exactly why that bat sound just activated me like a sleeper agent, is because the sound it's making sounds almost exactly like the same sound we use to capture impulse responses. the bat is doing the exact same thing.
I just saw a hacker on Instagram get into his city's flock cameras, and he noticed something weird. That the majority of the flock cameras exhibit the exact same behavior. And the behavior is that it reports in 50 times to a specific SSID, but that SSID is hidden. So he uncovers that it's hidden and realizes, oh shit, these things are using Wi-Fi. So is this on a hotspot, or is this actually tethered to the city's infrastructure somehow? This is important because if they're using hotspots, that's like centralized in less than the flock cameras themselves, right? I hope you get where I'm going with this.
If Wells Fargo goes through with this, we are cooked. This is like the most dystopian thing I have ever heard. They have a patent called Stardust. Stardust is a technology that deploys sensory particles in the air all around you that you can't see, but it will collect your biometrics. So it will record your heart rate, your temperature, audio, facial features, basically taking a picture or more. Then they will send that to a database where they will then verify it. And if you're verified through the database, you can now access your account. You don't have to put in your password or your passcode. How fun. The patent is real. You're looking at it right now. Look at the date on the top. Cars are even going to be rolling this out too. I think in like 2027, where if they detect you drink too much or if you're not alert enough, whatever that means, your car just won't start. Remember, you guys, this stuff can't keep rolling out if we just don't comply.
What's your name?
Jennifer.
What's your disability?
CP.
I thought mine was bad.
It's the same one.
Fuck no, it ain't. I would fucking destroy you in a game of golf. Anyway, I'm done bullying the handicapped woman.
That's part of the ritual.
Right.
I have an old 3-inch scar here on my wrist where my friends used to cut.
Yet details that were told to us in interviews conducted across the country were later verified by authorities, who say there are consistent telltale clues. And they provide a checklist of 6 satanic practices to look for. For example, being placed inside a coffin. It's an experience that many children are describing.
Well, the adults would dig up the caskets from the graveyards, and all the members, including the children, were made to lay in the remains of whatever was in the casket.
Get in a casket with a decomposed body.
Right, and then the casket was closed, and they would be lowered into the ground.
Because one of the primary focuses of these people is death.
Another indicator, satanic paraphernalia. In every case, the children talk about precisely the same setting.
They described a satanic goat's head being on the wall over the table. They described a lot of candles. And they described...
Always mean anything? Yeah, the red ones would be used for some types of sexual rituals. People who are doing sexual magic. This would be used for ordinary ceremonies and also for ceremonies where you'd be throwing a curse on somebody.
Another indicator, kidnapping. In almost every case, the children have talked about children who were snatched and later sacrificed.
They were taught to aid in the kidnapping of children. What they would do is the kids would go and play with the children and then tell them that they were either going to go to a party or that there was some toys or whatever and get them so they weren't on the move, and then her father and other members would grab the kids.
Sir, I question 2 million children missing in the United States, knowing that many of those are not runaways and are so young that they couldn't run away anyway.
Number 4, sexual abuse aimed at destroying faith in God. It's being...
It seems to go hand in hand.
The belief system within a child, to make a child turn against what they believe in terms of who they are, of who God is, and to desecrate all manner of flesh, all manner of church institution, all manner of sign and symbol that a child could in any way be attached to.
Cannibalism. It's difficult to believe, but in every case we examined, children described it.
The hearts were cut out, and the children were made to chew pieces of these children's hearts, pieces of their flesh.
These ones are not just to rent for your party. He said their mother wants to sell them for $10,000 each. He got me on the phone with the mother. She was negotiating this. And she said, I need you to make me a promise. I thought this promise would be take good care of my girls. Keep them safe. She said, if you're ever done with them, I need you to be done with them. She wanted us to keep her kids. These 2 little girls, knowing that they were being sold by their mother to be in a brothel held on to Andy because the guys that were buying her to take her to a brothel was a better option than staying with their own mother. The thing that haunts me the most is that operation fell apart because of some dirty cops and some politicians that were involved. I have no idea where those kids are.
Oh my God, that's her. Yeah. Is it really? Yep, that's her. It looks like her.
Took a picture of her, and he's like looking at her. And in the thing it said the lady's wearing like pink pants.
Remember like the one I yesterday?
Remember yesterday that one?
Oh well.
Yeah.
Should I block the shot?
Huh?
Should I block them?
Should block. Let me write it down.
It's a Texas plate.
Texas plate. What is it?
Is she a young girl? You can't look it up of what she looks like?
Yes, I can. It's right here.
Got it? Tell me a picture, because I know what that girl looks like. She ran right past me.
Okay, hold on.
Oh my God, that's her. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yep, that's her. It looks like her. That's exactly what she looks like.
She confessed in 1996.
I am here primarily today to make a public confession. In the spring of 1987, as a physician, I denied a man a necessary operation that would have saved his life and thus caused his death. No person and no group has held me accountable for this, because in fact what I did was I saved a company $500,000 for this. And furthermore, this particular act secured my reputation as a good medical director, and it ensured my continued advancement in the healthcare field. I went from making a few $100s a week as a medical reviewer to an escalating six-figure income as a physician executive. In all my work, I had one primary duty, and that was to use my medical expertise for the financial benefit of the organization for which I worked. And I was told repeatedly that I was not denying care, I was simply denying payment. Let me explain to you the ways that I was a good medical director. I was regularly consulted by marketing on ways to change expensive benefits or change the language to give me loopholes to make denials when requests came. I turned pre-existing exclusions into a game, and as I tried to connect almost any prior medical complaint or visit as a reason to deny payment. What kind of system have we created when a physician can receive a lucrative income for adding to the suffering of patients? I became a physician to care for, not bring harm to my patients. And I'm haunted by the thousands of pieces of paper in which I have written that deadly word, denied.
A school cafeteria worker admits she did wrong, and she understands why she was fired.
For 14 years, Debbie Solzman worked as a beloved lunch lady
Okay,
here at Denver
what'd she do
Place
wrong?
Elementary School in Wilmington. She says she would upgrade the lunch of a child who didn't have enough money or give them extra food if they said they were still hungry.
If they didn't have enough money on their account, they would get a cheese sandwich instead. Friend that got a free lunch.
Solzman says she kept Post-it note IOUs and paid out of her
That's
own
a great
pocket for
lunch lady,
kids,
bro.
But the district suspended and terminated her this February for, quote, not keeping track of her register and providing food to her grandchildren without payment, end quote. Solzman admits to giving her grandchildren extra food too, but says it wasn't just them.
I broke the rule. I'm the one that broke the rule.
I just found out about this, but apparently when the Black Panthers visited China in 1972, they stayed on my campus of Peking University. A lot of their goal was to learn about the international solidarity movement, learn traditional Chinese medicine.
I've known about this history of the Black Panthers' visit to China in the 70s for a few years now, but it was especially touching to know that they lived and taught at a place I've been calling home for the last year, especially because they taught in the building Jingyuan 3 where my master's program is in, when it used to be the School of Foreign Languages.
Huron Newton, one of the founders of the Black Panthers Party, met with then Premier Zhou Enlai and was also an avid follower of Mao. He was especially aligned with Mao's ideas of solidarity of all oppressed people of the world, and that the black struggle was one that China should be concerned with.
There's so much more history to this visit, including clinics in Oakland that now do acupuncture and traditional medicine because of this visit, as well as scholars and writers and historians like R.D.G. Kelly and Robinson Todd Fraser who have written about this. But for now, it's a lovely feeling to be able to know that home feels a little bit more connected.
Going all the way back to 1927. Wow. Folks, that is 7 years before Babe Ruth and his All-Americans would go to Japan. See, they have been widely given credit for having introduced the American brand of professional baseball to the Japanese. It is not true. It was this team called the Philadelphia Royal Giants, a barnstorming group of Negro leaguers who would go to Japan in 1927, play a 24-game exhibition series. They go 23-0-1 on the tour. The tour was so successful that 7 years later, Babe Ruth and his All-Americans would make that trek to Japan. I always preface that with my visitors.
Oh, hey. I'm hearing that you're being a loser and you're not having any friends, but that's okay. I was being loosened before too, but now I'm knowing how to make all the friends, and I'm gonna be teaching you too. First thing you wanna be and do is saying, oh hey, and smiling, oh hey. And if you're feeling extra night, you can even be in wing. Next, you wanna be and share something about yourself. Yeah, my new friend, I'm one time having chlamydia, but I'm not having anymore. But the most important thing is to be and shake your milk and making all the boy come to the yard. This message was being brought to you guys by Motivation.
No one's gonna do it. Someone's gotta say it. Ancient China was insane. You ever seen this? It was a sword with circuitry in it. You ever seen one of those? Puzzle ball made out of one piece of ivory. They invented a paint that has quantum properties, painted these soldiers, then buried them. It's possible they collaborated with the Egyptians because they did it too. But that's not where the similarities stop. The Egyptians carved these vases out of granite. They are hundreds of times more precise than the most intricate movement that your hand is capable of doing. This was discovered by using a laser to measure the symmetry of the object. 8,000 years ago, guess who else did the same thing? Ancient China. Do me a favor and Google Neolithic humans, and then tell me why those guys had a use for a vase that is that precise. China has more pyramids than Egypt, and they're aligned to the same stars. Ancient Egypt, people with long heads. Ancient Peru, people with long heads. Ancient China, people with long heads. This mysterious icon that's found in every ancient culture, found in China. Snake, dragon, serpent worship, China. Coolest creature ever, the foo dog, guarding another ancient symbol. Their architecture looks the way it does because it can withstand a 9.5 earthquake. And while we use modern tech to figure out how that works, they used a jar that could detect the earthquakes. It's the very first one ever invented. All right, last one. If you shine a light on a Chinese magic mirror, it will show you the reflection of what's on the back of the mirror. And believe it or not, we are just scratching the surface.
Truly designed to kill the greatest loophole the American working class ever had, the salvage yard. For decades, if you smashed the taillight on your truck, you drove down to the local junkyard, handed the guy $50, pulled a taillight off a wrecked truck, and plugged it into yours. You saved hundreds of dollars, and the truck looked good as new. Try that on a modern truck. If you back a 2026 Silverado or an F-150 into a pole and shatter the blind spot radar module tucked inside that taillight, you cannot just buy a used one from a junkyard. The plastic housing is fine, but that radar module is digitally handcuffed to the truck's main computer. If you plug a used radar module into your truck, the master computer interrogates it. It asks for the microchip's password. The module broadcasts the vehicle identification number of the wrecked truck it came from. Your truck's computer sees that the vehicle identification numbers do not match, and it immediately bricks the component. A warning light flashes on your dash, and your cross-traffic system is dead. The part is perfectly functional, but the automaker's software refuses to let you use it. To make that junkyard part work, you have to tow your truck to the dealership, pay a $200 diagnostic fee, and pay the service technician to connect his laptop to the corporate server and perform a software flash to rewrite the module. He is literally just typing in a password to give your truck permission to use a part you already bought with your own money. And in some cases, the manufacturers refuse to flash used parts at all, forcing you to buy a blank, virgin microchip directly from the dealership parts counter at a 500% markup. They have monopolized the repair market by making used parts digitally radioactive. It does not stop at electronics. They are coming for your brakes. Changing brake pads is something fathers used to teach their sons on a Saturday afternoon. You take the wheel off, remove the caliper, and use a C-clamp and a block of wood to push the hydraulic piston back into the housing so the new, thicker pads will fit. Look at the rear wheels of a new truck today. The mechanical emergency brake cable is gone. It has been replaced by an electronic parking brake. There's a massive plastic electric motor bolted directly to the back of the brake caliper. To change your own rear brake pads today, you need to command the truck's computer to enter maintenance mode. Again, no button. Just another hidden sequence of pedals and switches to digitally wind those motors back. If you don't know the secret code, or if you accidentally use a C-clamp like your dad taught you, you will shatter the internal gears instantly. A $50 driveway brake job just became a $600 dealership nightmare. They will tell you this is all for your own good. They will say it is for safety or efficiency or security against theft. Do not believe them for a second. It is about ensuring that the dealership service bay is the only place your truck can ever go.
Drive a man and quitting time. Drive a man, they kind of boss. Ride a man and lead a horse. When his cat o' nine-tail fly, you be happy just to die. Run away and you be found by his big old red bone hound. Patty roll up, bring you back, make you sorry you is black. Drive a man, he made a life, but the mammy ain't his wife. Ain't but two things on my mind. Drive a man and quitting time.
When you look all of these wars, Mexico, when you talk about the cartel, Jews.
Always Jews, yeah. No, most people don't know how connected they are to the cartels. Like there was, I think it was like 43 or something students disappeared. It was big national news in Mexico. All of a sudden, this one guy, the investigator for it, they started investigating him and realized he was part of the cartels. They're about to arrest him, but they couldn't stop it because it's such big national news. He fled to Israel, and Israel took him in. Now, why would Israel take a Mexican cartel leader in? Not even Jewish.
Yep, and you remember the interview they had? He's interviewing the guy. The guy's not even trying to do it. He's just talking about the children that they're kidnapping and burning people.
Torturing.
And they torturing them, then they burn them in acid. And the guy said, yeah, and Israeli, the IDF comes. And the guy says, wait, stop. What? He said, what? He said, what do you mean IDF? He said, yeah, the Israeli soldiers come over. He said, why? He said, I don't know. I've seen the Israeli soldiers. They're the ones teaching them how to burn people in acid and hide the bodies that they killed.
Some statements that were really important, what you said, that they were people from Israel. They came over here and trained Santiago Mesa, but later on digging more in the information, one of the leaders of the cartel was sent to Israel to be trained of how to decompose the bodies and also how to make the drainage system. Can you explain that?
Yeah, in 1985, Elefra, he go to Israel in training to dissolve bodies in acid, and then when he back to Mexico, he come together with other person to Israel, to Tijuana, and then
so he came from Israel with people from Israel to Tijuana.
Yeah, to Tijuana, and then together to Israel and El Pozolero working together.
They trained him.
Personally, I was sexually assaulted when we were intercepted and taken to a prison boat. I was cable tied with my hands behind my back and shackles to my ankles. I was thrown to the deck of the prison boat, where I was then stood upon, I was slapped with guns to the back of my head, and a whole wash of water was thrown under my body to the point that I thought that I was going to drown. I feared for my life, but the reality was I was sexually assaulted. I was thrown into a darkened shipping container. 5 men beat me and sexually assaulted me in that container ship. And when I was spat out into an open area in which we had to live for the next 3 days, we had to watch 180 people go through the same thing, hearing their howls of pain and torture and abuse. And this will be a lifelong memory, but what it showed is the absolute disregard for human life, for human care, for human dignity, and this is something that innocent Palestinians go through every day.
Oh, well, wouldn't you look at that? Guess whose ancestry results were just updated for some reason. Never had this before, just Africa before. I've never seen nothing like that. Anybody else got that? Because they're gonna say it's this, but I've never seen them put anything like that on this app. No, oh my god, they're breaking the news, aren't they? Slowly.
University that discovered stone tools alongside mastodon bones. That means they found the oldest known site of human life in the southeastern U.S. Consider that. Think about it for just a second. We're joined now by Florida State University Assistant Professor Jesse Holligan. Professor Holligan, good morning to you.
Good morning to you guys. So
Put into just layman's waking up Saturday morning, eating my Wheaties terms, what this means, Florida State University, that Saturday morning, eating my Wheaties terms, what this means, the discovery of these tools.
So these bones and artifacts show that people were in Florida 1,500 years earlier than a lot of people accept the Americas were colonized. And more importantly, a lot of us were taught that the Americas were colonized by some folks coming through an ice-free corridor from Alaska through Canada into North and South America around 13,500 years ago. That's what most high school textbooks say. That ice-free corridor wasn't open until 14,000 years ago. This site is 500 years older than that, and in Florida, which is by any stretch of the imagination, kitty corner across the continent from Alaska. So it means that we really have to re-examine how and when the Americas were colonized. What
is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You stupid mother.
Say that again, because we're going to have to clip this up. Say that in that camera right now. What
so
they
if
need
you
to
got
do.
negative items on your credit report, what you do is you take your credit report, you upload to ChatGPT. You're going to ask ChatGPT to draft you an affidavit, not a dispute letter, an affidavit, and ask for Supreme Court case law to remove the negative items that's pretty much on your credit report. ChatGPT is going to spit the entire affidavit out. Then what you're going to do is go to notarylive.com, and you can actually get your document notarized right then and there, and then you're going to send it off certified. You can go to onlinecertifiedmail.com and send it out certified. You can do this all from home, right? And a lot of people, oh, well, the government shut down, so we can't do FTC and we can't do CFPB. It don't matter. If you get an affidavit and get it notarized, that means you're it's an official sworn statement as you as a consumer. See, we have consumer federal protected rights that most of you don't really understand. So this is really where you got to understand how to leverage ChatGPT to use the knowledge that it's artificial, that you don't have to know, but leverage it in terms of your situation. You can get anything moved off your credit report.
Did you know Oakland once had an amusement park so big it had roller coasters, a zoo, an ostrich farm, and even helped aviation history? Right here in North Oakland, between Telegraph and Shattuck on 56th and 58th Street, once stood Adora Park, one of the greatest amusement parks California has ever seen. Adora Park opened in 1903 on 20 acres, but it wasn't just built for fun. The Realty Syndicate created it to get people riding their streetcars out to the East Bay. For just 10 cents, visitors got roller coasters, a zoo, an ostrich farm, a Japanese garden, an opera house, and the largest roller skating rink west of Chicago. Then, after the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, the park became something much bigger. Eudora sheltered more than 2,500 displaced people, providing food and supplies, while San Francisco was still devastated across the bay. And here's the wildest part that most people actually don't talk about. On August 3rd, 1904, right here at the Eudora Park, the California Aero made its first controlled circular dirigible flight in American history. You know those big blimps? By 1929, it was all gone, demolished and replaced by Storybook Neighborhood you can still walk through today.
Right. I saw something that said that these electric toothbrushes harbor a lot of mold inside because it cannot fully dry from these little slots, even though I take it out and let it dry completely every night. Let's just see. Hold on. Okay. 1, 2. Oh, shit. Hold on. That didn't work. 1, 2. Almost. Ew. Oh no. Wait, hold on. I gotta put this down so you can actually see. Oh no. Look at that. Ew. That is so gross. Okay. No more. Done. Done with this electric toothbrush.
Mold exposure is very common. That's why I'm continuously detoxing it with a binder.